Welcome back to the Olga S Pérez show. I'm your host, Olga. How you doing? Welcome. Yes. Boy, do I have a lot going on today. I got a lot planned out. We're going to get into the whole Crowder thing. I'm going to share some of the comments that I got over the weekend. We're also going to talk about the Epstein calendar. And we got enough to chew on that. And then a surprise guest. Remember I mentioned to you that I might be having, well, you know what? I'll let him introduce himself. I'm going to bring him on right away. I hope you guys are ready to go because I'm ready to go. And if you've been here before, welcome back, my love. If it's your first time here, awesome to have you. You know your comments are my fuel. I do read them and I will respond. Keep them coming. Smash that like button, even if you're just happy to see me, to put a smile on your face. Yeah. So anyway, without further ado, let me bring on Mr. José Vega.
Hello there.
Hello. Good day to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So for those of you who don't know, Jose, introduce yourself. Go ahead. Who are you?
So my name's Jose Vega, as you can see here. And, I'm an activist. I'm an activist with the Schiller Institute, LaRouche organization. I've been so since I was about 15 years old. I'm 24 years old now. I'm a certified rabble rouser, troublemaker. This ain't my first rodeo, but the one that people seen, with me confronting the hegemon that is the Western media at Columbia University. And I think people are happy that it's happening. And what you got pulled up there?
You see that? Guys, you remember I shared this last week. For those who don't know, I'll just share it for 2 seconds just to give everybody a refresher. Did you guys see this one? Let me see. See if you guys can hear the audio. Let me see. Oh.
There you go.
But I think this is more like afterwards.
No, that was when I got pushed over.
Yeah, explain that. So they were trying to get you out of there.
Yeah, so actually I have something breaking for you too. If you go on my profile, if you click on my name, so what I have pinned is the full intervention itself there. And then if you scroll down just underneath that, I posted the audio of what happened to me after.
This one right here?
Just go down one more. That one right there. Yeah, that's it.
This one?
Yep. So that's the audio of what happened to me once they actually took me out.
Listen. Go ahead, explain. I'm sorry before I say that.
No problem. Yeah, so once they actually, so you see the video and it's like, they don't deserve to be in jail. You hear the door slam.
Yeah.
This is immediately after that. There's no visual because my cameraman wasn't picking it up, but the audio is there. And you can hear clearly what happens.
Oh my God, I didn't see it. This is awesome. I'm going to play it. All right, guys.
You're not going to disrupt my event.
Hey, easy. You don't have to grab me so hard. Easy. Listen. My heart's racing pretty quickly. It's hard.
Mine too.
It's hard to breathe. Just loosen up your grip here.
No. I don't trust you.
Just loosen up my grip.
We're going to leave.
We're going to leave. Relax. Listen, brother, you're almost damn near choking me there.
I'm not choking you.
You just fucking were.
I'm calm.
I'm calm too.
But you don't come and interrupt my event, sir.
Why not?
Because it's my event.
Oh, it's your event. Yes. Oh, excusez-moi. I'm sorry. My apologies, Your Highness. I will leave. Don't worry.
You can leave. That's right.
I'm gonna get out of here. That was fun. Hey,
So yeah, that's it.
That's it?
That's it. Yeah. Basically, that was the dean of Columbia School of Journalism. That guy's name was Delaney Cobb, and he was the one who pushed me down, actually. So maybe like towards the end of the intervention, you see some people start dragging me away. He pushed me into some chairs, which caused me to collapse. And then, yeah. So, and then that's him also, bear hugging me and almost choking me out, refusing to let me go until we were actually out of the elevator another floor away. So, so much for free speech, right? From the head of Columbia School of Journalism, who's also a staffer for the New Yorker. So, yeah.
Of course. I'm not surprised. Something I say constantly is like, even like a regular person, right? So many people, the majority, they take a lot of shit because they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to lose their money. They got to pay rent or mortgage or whatever. And, whether it's a physician that knows that maybe they're not doing something right, but they don't want to lose. So, I understand that nobody wants to lose their position. And it's not just the so-called leaders, but for journalism. I studied journalism myself. I studied communications. That was my third major in college. Again, I'm not a journalist, but that's what I loved about when I saw your video. And that's why I reached out to you right away. And I'm so grateful that you saw my message, you responded, and that you were available.
Sure.
Because I'm just like, it's real easy to, be behind the camera right here from my desk going, this is wrong. Or, people, why don't they say the truth? Why don't they speak up? And then you're doing it. And I'm going, it's like, it's real easy to be like, oh yeah, I do the same thing. I do the same thing. But I'm not, or I didn't yet. And I'm just like, when I see someone like you, I'm going, yes. Like, because the more, it always takes one person. So when they see you do it, more people are going to do it. I believe that.
Oh, of course. And look, I've been urging people to do this. I've been making the point on the other shows I've been on that there are 435 congressional districts. Can we get one person in each of those districts to stand up and just do what I did? I believe that our government has been hijacked by tyrannical forces.
Absolutely.
And fascism. And now that we are just full blown into censorship now, we have to use the tools of the Constitution, especially that First Amendment.
Thank you.
To really defend our government and take back our government. That's what I'm a prominent believer of, and why I do what I do. I think our entire Congress has no idea what they vote on. Maybe 95% of the time they're told what to vote on. There's this congressman down in Florida. His name is Maxwell Frost. He's 26 years old. So he's only 2 years older than I am. And he won on the platform of gun control, right? So he won on the platform of gun control. I think it was something like in his district, he had some kids die from a school shooting. Okay, no problem. But when Matt Gaetz introduced the Syria resolution bill to get our troops out of Syria.
Is this a guy?
Let me see. Yep, that's him.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
So he's 26 years old. He's anti-gun violence, we got to get our guns off the street, whatever. When Matt Gaetz introduces a bill to get our troops out of Syria, right, where 90% of their people are impoverished because of our sanctions, where children are dying because of our troops being there, this man votes to keep our troops in Syria, mind you. 26 years old, supposedly wants gun control, right? So it's okay for Syrian children to die at the hands of guns because they're not Americans, but not Americans, right? So now, do I believe that this guy's just evil and corrupt? Yes. Evil, no. See, when you're that young, what am I voting on? Okay, yes or no? Okay, yes, whatever. Now get me out of here. We got to get to lunch. He probably didn't even know he was voting to keep our troops in Syria. That's how insipid most of our Congress is. And this isn't just, he's somebody who's with the quote squad. And to the squad's credit, they voted to get our troops out of Syria, but he didn't. And so that bill failed, and our troops are still in Syria to this day, and people are still dying because of that. So you don't have a government. You don't have a government that really represents you. You have bought interests, okay? You have corporations, okay, who are in your Congress right now. That's what it is. Take it back.
Yeah. You know how you hear this all the time where it's like, we're being censored, because there's freedom of speech has been hijacked, this and that. I'm going, hey, stop saying that. The thing is, whether you're on the left or the right, which I don't care, I'm like you. I'm about the truth. I'm an American citizen. If I'm supposed to pay taxes, I'm not paying taxes for this kind of shit. So there's two things I wanted to say. One was, I like the way you described them, but to me, I put them all in one little ball and I go, and in a very nice way, they're all imbeciles. Okay. That's my opinion. So it's like, how are you going to vote? How are you going to support imbeciles? Number one, these people are running the country, the imbeciles. That's just to put it all in a nutshell. Cause I try to cut the middle guy out. Let's just get to the point, get to the meat of it. But talking about the First Amendment and the Constitution, that's been my biggest thing. I'm like, stop saying that there's no more freedom of speech. The Constitution hasn't changed. So even by people saying we've been hijacked, we're being censored, the First Amendment's being hijacked. Yo, No, it hasn't. Us saying that, in my opinion, you could disagree, no problem. I mean, that's what I like about having a discussion, that the more we say it, like, oh, there's no more freedom of speech. What are you talking about? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's no law made against it. So why are we even saying these things? Like the commentators, you know what I mean? Not just the politicians. It's like, stop saying that. No, we should be saying, yo, go ahead.
No. I mentioned the Uhuru Group at the end of my intervention. Now, the Uhuru Group are black socialists down in Florida. I'm not a socialist myself, but they're put in jail right now for being critical of this war. Okay, that is an impediment on the First Amendment. Now,
that's right.
The official charge is something that they were on a Zoom call with a Russian national, so therefore they're being tried for treason or something, which is in itself terrible. It's just a way to go after this group. We do need to use the First Amendment because obviously I still have it. We all still have it. Although when I confronted Hakeem Jeffries a couple months ago, I don't know if you saw that. That also had gone viral, about maybe about as big as this one. I had gotten a call from the D.C. Capitol Police for an event that happened in New York. D.C. Capitol Police called me. The Washington, D.C. is calling me in New York, asking me, what was your intention that day? What were you going to do had Hakeem Jeffries, or if you weren't escorted away? Here, I'll see if I can send it to you.
I was just going to look. Is it on your Twitter? Because I'm looking at it right now.
Yep, it is. I will. I'll just DM it to you. I guess, is this the first? Okay, here's a question. Is this the first time? Yeah, hold on. Oh, that's my profile, but I'm going to DM it to you. Oh, here it is. I'm going to okay. Well, this isn't from my page, but it'll do the job. Here we go. Yeah, because like these things, I call them bootlegs, where people steal the video from my Twitter and then they say whoa, check out this patriotic American and stuff. There you go. I just DM'd it to you. So, yeah.
Oh, DM'd it on Twitter.
Twitter is
sorry. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, duh. Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, so I just DM'd it to you on Twitter. Yeah, is this the first time you've seen some of my work, like the Columbia School of Journalism?
Yeah, never knew you existed until that day that you were like, why didn't you tell the truth? I mean, obviously I watched the whole thing and I shared it on my live stream. I don't know if it was I think the same day or the next day after, it was posted on Twitter. But I don't know if you came up or somebody else shared it. And then I looked up your profile and I did look at your profile because I wouldn't have asked you to come on just because of one thing. I was like, what's this guy about?
No. Well, the reason I asked that is because lots of people have that effect where they're like, wow, how come I haven't heard of this guy before? And then I tell them about, well, do you remember people who confronted AOC at a town hall back in October?
That was you?
That was me, yeah.
Stop! Because I shared that clip too. But I guess, you know what it was? Because nobody mentioned your name. And that's the thing. Somehow, when I did find that video, I heard somebody, and I was like, the first thing in my mind was, oh my God, I got to find out who this guy is to interview him. And then I don't even know if it was 20 minutes later, somebody else mentioned something about the activist. I think it was redacted. And they said your name, Jose Vega. I was like, boom, I got his name. So I couldn't find you.
I was relatively unknown. And then, the AOC one got big. And then,
that was the one that she was dancing.
No. But there was a week before that one.
There was another one.
Here, I'll DM you this one too. This was actually between. Yeah, that's the Hakeem Jeffries one that went as big too. This was after.
Let me watch this real quick while you get me the OAC one. Let me share this one because I want to see if I did see this one.
No problem.
All right, guys, I hope you can hear this.
The UN Security Council had a meeting yesterday, and Ray McGovern spoke to it. He is a former member of the CIA, and he testified in support of Seymour Hersh's article on the United States.
I did not see this, by the way,
bombing
Jose.
Nord Stream pipeline.
Yeah, this one went really big too.
If it is proven that the United
30
States
million
bombed
views
the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, as has been asserted by Seymour Hersh and his article, will you call for the United States to acknowledge and admit that that was an act of war against Germany and Russia? And I'm asking this because this may be the only way to prevent the rest of us from being killed in a thermonuclear war. And I don't want to be fried. Don't you think the media should be reporting on whether or not this is true? And don't you think you should be inquiring into whether or not this is true?
Boom! Thank you.
Well, thank you for the question. One, I've got no information to suggest that the the United States was involved in bombing the Nord Stream pipeline?
Because you weren't briefed on it.
Sir, you got your chance to ask a question.
So you got to give me an opportunity to respond.
You weren't given information because he explicitly says you weren't briefed on it. Shouldn't you inquire?
So here's what I'll say about, I think, President Biden's leadership generally as it relates to the Ukraine and Russia.
We committed an act of war. What are you doing to respond to that? We have to hold Biden accountable.
That's right.
So listen, you're from Brooklyn, right? You know when to call bullshit when you see it. So do I. This is bullshit right now. And I see what's happening right now. That does not silence me. You can hear me right now. I want you to say something about the bombing because we're all going to die from a nuclear war right now unless you stop it.
I do remember. Hold on.
And inquire.
That's the part I remember watching.
Yeah.
Like right in there. So somebody must have shared that part of the clip, not the whole clip.
Yeah.
Bad on me for not knowing or looking further.
Happening right now. That does not silence me. You can hear me right now.
Right.
I want you to say something about the bombing because we're all going to die from a nuclear war right now unless you stop it and you at least put and inquire into whether or not it's true. This war in Ukraine is going to leave us all dead. So what are you going to do? Because you need to inquire. I'm a New Yorker too.
Here's what I'll say.
Say it.
We're going to continue to stand with the Ukrainian people.
That's fucking bullshit. Do not do that. You will end us all
in
dead.
this war against.
It's not funny, Jose. I'm just, sometimes I
No,
laugh.
I'm
You know what I'm
laughing.
saying? It's fucking the truth, man.
Yeah, no, I'm laughing.
Peace.
Yeah.
We need talks.
Because
Why are
it's
you
not
sabotaging
just-
talks?
it's
Do
not
not put
just
your
a
hands on me.
battle
Good for
We
you.
need
Ukraine
peace talks.
and
I am not
Russia.
going to take
Yes,
this.
yes, you
It's
see?
a-
It's not just an activist speaking up. Sorry for interrupting and pausing, but that's it. We need peace. Peace talks. Sorry, I'm fucking loud.
No, you're good. Keep it going. Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to do something to my channel today. I guarantee you. And I've already had 3 strikes. The one strike
Oh my God.
miraculously expired, and then I got another one as soon as that. Today I had another one that expires today on the 1st. Guarantee you now, boom! Like they're wanting me to get a 3rd strike, and I'm not doing anything wrong. But they're saying that if I don't defend the Ukraine, again, even the word Ukraine, although you've said it in the video, just by saying that word, they'll fucking strike me.
You know what? Just to help you out, we should be funding Ukraine with all the weapons and arms they need to fight against the imperialist Putin. There you go. So now the filter won't give you a strike.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. Thank you.
We must support Ukraine. Slava Ukraina.
Yes. Oh, don't even get me started. I almost did the...
You almost did the, yeah, right.
You know it. You know. Okay, I'm gonna finish this because it's too good. Oh, but I love that. You see, it's not just. This is what I loved about the little that I did see from you. Meaning I didn't go hours and hours into you and your profile and but my thing was that was the vibe I got from you. It wasn't just an activist. It was somebody who wanted peace, who wanted truth, who are standing up for whatever. Dude, it's like the emperor's clothing thing. You're saying what most of us feel. Trust me. Even the people that are so-called on the certain side, they're full of shit.
Wait till you see the AOC one, too.
Peace
Do you want me to finish this real quick?
Yeah. Go for it.
It's a
You
battle
are leaving.
between
Listen.
Democracy
Did you even read the
and
allegations?
autocracy. It's a
No.
battle between
How
truth
about
and
accountability?
propaganda.
Not
And it's a
airheadedness.
battle between
Okay.
terrorism
Oh, yeah, take my jacket. That's right.
and democracy,
Okay, how about
truth, and
conversations,
freedom will
not
prevail.
cremation?
And the United States is going to make sure
Diplomacy,
that happens.
not destruction. How about that? How about
Look at me, you got me for clowns.
Goddamn airhead, you're gonna kill us all. I don't want to die in a goddamn nuclear war. Nobody dies.
Oh, gosh.
But you're speaking. Okay, did you DM me the AC one or what?
I did. Yeah, it's right there. You see it right in the message box right there. That's it.
Okay, so I did
So-
see this one.
This one.
I did see this one. This was, I think, the first one I saw of you then.
Yeah, October. That's my friend Kynan right there. He starts it off, but
Congresswoman.
this was all, before Nord Stream, but we were $50 billion deep into Ukraine at the point. Now it's like, what, $140 billion?
Oh, God.
Yeah, so mind you, right? So $100 billion have passed since that video. And, that I remember that day too. We didn't think we were going to yell at her like that. We just thought, okay, if you get the microphone first you bring up this point, this point, this point. I get it. Then I'll bring this, and then you follow up because we thought it was going to be an honest town hall.
Right.
When you get there, they're like, "Oh, would you like to ask the congresswoman a question?" We're like, "Yeah." Okay, here's a note card. Here's a pencil, and maybe we'll select your question. It's like, no.
Here we go.
So that's why we decided. I texted him. I was like, "Okay, go for it." So.
All right, for my audience, let me play it real quick in case you guys haven't seen or need a refresher. I didn't know that this was the same guy, José Vega over here. Our special guest for today. Here you go. Oh my God, thank you, Jose.
None of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because they're a bunch of war hawks, okay? You originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine. You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives.
There will be no neighbors if there's a nuclear bomb.
That's you.
You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a coward. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown.
See, I've been with you the whole time, Jose, because I shared this when it came out. And I specifically, oh man, I was going on with this one because, I mean, for somebody to call someone else, you're a coward. It's bigger than politics. You know what I mean?
Well, because I believed in her. I mean, like, I don't say that lightly. In 2018, I emailed her campaign after she won her primary because I was going through something where my basement apartment, the ceiling of it had filled up with sewage water and then it all collapsed. And I was like homeless for a few months. And so I reached out to her campaign like, hey, like, I could use some help right now because my landlord isn't doing something and my assemblyman keeps telling me to drop it. Like, I'm looking for you as like hope. Now, they never got back to me, but even then I was like, okay, maybe she's inundated with so many requests. You know?
Right.
Maybe she'll have systematic change. Nope. And so like, this is really coming from a place of like disappointment. And, you know, one of my favorite quotes from Dr. King is there can be no deep disappointment where there is no deep love. And so, anyway, yeah, that's why I just like straight up.
So funny. That's something I wrote in my notes today because of, you know who Noam Chomsky is?
Yeah, I know Noam Chomsky because of the Epstein stuff, right? Well, I mean, before the Epstein stuff, but
right, that's a thing. I've known of him for years. I mean, he used to break it down. Matter of fact, the first time I ever found him was one of my classes in journalism. One of them was, what was the name of the course? I don't want to say marketing. It had to do with like social something. But anyway, one of the main books that the professor wanted us to read was Manufacturing Consent.
Oh, wow.
So I had to do something with media. Obviously, I'm studying communications, broadcasting, mass media. And dude, because I was thinking these things, but I never did the research. I just could tell marketing. But that's just me, my intuition, literally. I'm going, man, they're really using people's psychology to sell you everything. And the fact that I just knew instinctually as a kid, I'm talking, right? Like they're lying. They're just lying. I just know they're lying, right? But anybody could say, oh, politicians lie. But I just figured, no, this is deeper. And when I found that book, oh my God. So I really delved into this guy. And then during the whole 2020, he was acting like another fucking Nazi, whatever you want to call it, going, you must get the jab. And I'm going, whoa, this guy? But
lots
at the same
of people
time,
were disappointed in that, yeah.
Yeah, but he's also very old. So you're like, he's old, but I'm like, wait, this guy's compromised. And then the Epstein thing comes out, and I'm like, and I wrote it down. I literally have it written down in my notes here because of something else with like the Steven Crowder thing, which has nothing to do with you or this conversation. But it was the fact that I was going to highlight breaking down disappointment. Because even my mentors years ago who said, do this, do that, be self-reliant, you know, all the things to get me to be empowered, they got older, not just because of age, they choose that all of a sudden they're not doing what they preached before and they did and they didn't do. And I know that one of the worst feelings to have is disappointment, like to look up to somebody. Anyway, why did you said disappointment? Wait, bringing it back to what you said. OAC, the disappointment part. Was that what that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was saying that, there can be no deep disappointment where there is no deep love.
That's
Right?
it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Because, it's like you only feel disappointment when you expect something of somebody and they don't,
Exactly.
not only do they not live up to it, they betray, what their potential.
Thank
And,
you.
AOC is like the perfect example of this because she was like being interviewed by Glenn Greenwald, when she won her primary, but not the general election. She was, out here saying, yeah, we're going to, shake things up. I'm okay with being a one-term congresswoman. Like, right now, what is she? Just a mouthpiece for the establishment. So,
she
and
is.
which is what I say, now you've become the very thing you sought to fight against.
Which happens all the time. It's not just her. So to me, that's not a personal attack towards her. That's what I loved about the way you approached it as well. That
Yeah.
it's like, I believe in you. I voted for you. Or I don't know if you said that. I'm sorry. Did you?
I didn't
wanna
vote
put
for her because
words-
she's not in my district, but I did believe in her.
Okay, cool. No, I just didn't want to make sure I don't put words in your mouth. Let me finish this clip real quick.
Sure.
Shown guts where you've shown cowardice. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against.
Come on. You
That's
sound
what you-
poetic. And you became again, I'm not trying to
No, you should dramatize it actually because it's a very, my friend Diane Sayre, who's running for Senate here in New York, she has this thing where she describes these interventions and what we're doing in the caliber of a Shakespearean drama, in tragedy, right?
Yeah.
Oftentimes in Shakespeare, the tragedy, the conditions are set usually in the first scene of the first act. That's usually what tells you why things end up the way they do. And right now, every citizen has to become like Hamlet and decide not to be tragic, right? Because, Hamlet's whole to be or not to be, that is the question, right? Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing them end them. Well, we need to decide to oppose them and end them right now. Okay, we don't need to be like Hamlet, who's a coward and refuses to everything he needs to do, and then just decides to take the tragic point. We don't need to be tragic right now. We need to rise above our circumstances of tragedy and take back our government, and just speak the truth,
That's right.
And that's what's going to bring justice. It's the truth. Just speak it out loud when they don't want it heard the most. That's when you should speak it out loud.
Yes. And Jose, are you born and raised in New York?
The Bronx,
Bronx.
BX,
That's awesome.
Boogie Down.
I love New York until recent. Like now,
Oh, it's a shithole. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't say it like that.
it's true. But no, I used to go there all the time, every weekend. I'm in Philly, and that was my escape. Actually, sometimes it was DC, but then New York always took. That was my preferred. But I love being in what we call it the tri-state area. But then ever since 2020, I'm like, you can't pay me to go there.
It's bad here. I mean, like, I was taking my grandma to the airport last night. The roads are terrible. You can't get anywhere. It takes you like an hour to go like 5 miles if you're driving. And then if you want to take public transportation, don't even get me started.
No, I won't do it. That's the thing.
Chances of getting assaulted, big time. It's dirty. It's like unsanitary. And then Eric Adams has the audacity to tell people, no, it's cool. Come here. Come on. Let's go. When Marjorie Taylor Greene visited New York and she described how bad it was, I'm like, yeah, she's right. And then like AOC and Jamal Bowman are like, no, New York City's beautiful. It's like, okay, don't be so delusional. Right? Because if they admit that New York City is bad, then they admit that they're failures, okay, to their district and to their people, okay? Because New York City does look like crap, all right? And so no amount of gaslighting is going to make people think otherwise. You just have to come here and look at it yourself.
It's true. I have friends that will show me on FaceTime that live there, and I'm just like, that's not what it used to look like. It wasn't as dirty. It wasn't as empty in some ways. It wasn't as now, and all the businesses that closed down, like everything.
No, yeah, even like in the East Village, in the village, in Greenwich Village, down in the city, right, the East and West villages, it looks like crap, and I used to love walking down there.
Me too.
Yeah.
No, seriously, and I remember people would say to me, because I'm from Spain and I have most of my family's in Europe, especially Spain, but they're like, "Ay, no te da miedo?" Like, aren't you afraid to be like in New York? And I'm going, nah, dude, that's movie shit. Like maybe like in the 70s, early 80s, but
Yeah.
now I'm like, and I was proud of that, anyway, should I finish this clip or do you want me to go? There's something else? Like
Up to you. I mean, you got pretty much that was pretty much like close to the end there. I sent you one more thing, which was I think when I confronted Kamala Harris back in 2021.
Also on Twitter?
I DM'd that one to you also.
Okay, let me see. Let me refresh the page.
No problem.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
that one?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Thank you so much for this. Okay.
This was before the Ukrainian war. This was, pre-invasion, but she was coming to the Bronx to talk about Biden's Build Back Better. And we were just off the heels of a hurricane that killed 8 people here in New York City. And as I make the point, it could have been prevented if we had the right infrastructure. And even when Jimmy Carter came to Queens, where, the people had died about 40, 50 years ago and said, yeah, listen, this is a disaster waiting to happen. We need to fix the infrastructure. So this was a known problem for the last 50 years, okay? And so no president has ever addressed it. No governor in New York has ever addressed it, right? So she wants to come here and talk about Build Back Better. Well, okay, what about people who are drowning?
This woman, see, again, what did I say earlier? They're all imbeciles. That's it. See, to me, it's not like the left or right. Like, you're an imbecile. Like, you're speaking like an imbecile. But I get it. If you indoctrinate people, I used to be a teacher. I left the system in the States because they literally were making sure that kids did not learn shit. You know what I mean? So I was like, I can't participate in this. It's not just a paycheck being shitty, but that's another story. Okay. Let me play it.
On climate.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Better health. It's about better jobs. And intentionally, it is about our families.
What about the families who drowned?
That's you.
8 families drowned here in Queens. It could have been prevented if we had the right infrastructure.
You are right, brother.
I am right about that.
You are.
And the
how about you
Chinese
and I
have
talk
shown
about
that poverty is a choice.
So let me
Why
finish.
aren't we working with the Chinese on their Belt and Road Initiative?
Okay,
The bankers run a dictatorship here.
My comments, and
We
I'm
need to
happy
pass
talk.
Glass-Steagall back.
But right now, let's talk about the agenda.
No, the
That will
agenda doesn't
include-
address the fact that people are going to die if there's another hurricane.
To all people and allowing
There's been
everybody to
planned
be heard.
shrinkage of
That's part
benign
of what we want in
neglect.
our democracy. Everybody gets their chance to talk, and
We
everybody
need
gets a
nuclear
chance
power
to be heard.
plants. We don't need tax energy.
Look at these idiots. Oh, we're just gonna clap, like
You
So
guys
this
are
is our
against
agenda.
autopilot,
This
bro.
is our
Autopilot.
agenda. To cut taxes.
So that was, in that room, by the way, was de Blasio, who was the outgoing mayor at the time. AOC was in that room too, and a whole bunch of other people, local officials and stuff. I think the governor was there too. So, yeah.
I'm telling you, they're all there. They're in their protective cars. They got their bodyguards. All our money, right? Or can we say fiat money? Like it's not even real. There's no value to it. So they just printing shit. They're printing like coupons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And with these coupons, that it's our money. But the truth is, or not just the truth. How about the fact that, so if we're not backing it up by gold, right? Any real tangible value, right? And they just print as much as you want, right? My thing is, do you know about the Jekyll Island meeting?
No, what's up?
So I have the link in the description below, guys. I mentioned it a few times. It's a must read. And do you know what's his name? Griffin. What's his first name? It's on the book thing. Anyway, well, like how was the Federal Reserve created? Right? There was a meeting. They planned it, right? So you plan it, and then in the 70s, or I think it was 71 or 72, that they took down the gold standard. Now, the thing is, going back to 1913, when the Federal Reserve existed, at that moment, I mean, why did they do that? Well, they told the president at the time, and I'm talking like layman's terms, okay? I'm just simplifying it. So basically, he takes a loan from the central bank, aka World Bank, right? And you can't pay us back. We were helping you to boost your economy, America, right? It didn't work out, but you know what? That's okay. We'll just have you pay it back with interest, but to the point where you'll never be able to pay it back. Not you, not any generation. So then you take the gold standard. So my point is, talk about when all these not just politicians, but even news anchors, when they keep saying, our great-grandchildren are going to be paying for all this money going to Ukraine. It's like, it's bigger than that. Because imagine a debt that you're never going to get out of. Like England got out of the debt from World War II about, I don't know, don't quote me on the exact date, but maybe like 15 years ago, maybe 20, but not that far from today. So, but they paid it off. But Americans, we're in debt forever and ever. And ever and ever and ever and ever. It's like,
well, you have a speculative bubble right now around the whole economic system. You have about $6 trillion in the international market. That's all just derivatives and derivatives and derivatives, right? It's not actual real money. What's going to happen is it's just going to pop. Exactly. And when it pops, it's not going to be good because we don't have any physical commodities or infrastructure to actually back it. What do I mean by that? When we were taken off the Bretton Woods system with Nixon and off the gold standard, we switched from a physical economy, which meant like the measure of the economy should be, how many schools are operating, how many hospitals are up and running, how healthy is the population, how intelligent is the population, how productively employed are they? So are people working in machine tool sectors? They switched from all that to what's the value of the dollar? And the weirdest thing too is when we got off the gold standard, we switched to a floating exchange system, which meant that our currency wasn't backed by anything other than our own imagination. So it just became all speculation. So really, it's all just kind of imaginary at this point. And then you see what they do with quantitative easing, where they're just like, okay, well, we just added extra zeros here with no real backing and just distribute that. It's just going to lead to hyperinflation. That's just going to be really bad really soon. So
I mean, and these are adults. The adults, the politicians. But nobody. The other thing I talk about is where are all these life coaches, right? These experts, like even like Tony Robbins. How come he's not giving any advice? Like I know the answer, but you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my God, like the level of lack of knowledge, denial, playing games, playing sides, my team, your team. I get it. You get it. And that's to me, I just want to keep bringing truth out. Like, that's what I loved about you and what you're doing. I got a major question, or to me, it's a major question. So remember how you said you've been basically a journalist since you were a kid or into it. What made you do this? Like what, like maybe you were playing, I don't know, basketball or I'm just saying like any sport. Like maybe you were an artist. Like, you were a kid. We were all kids at one point. What made you this way?
I got this painting here of Plato and Aristotle.
I love my Plato. Go ahead.
Yeah, and actually in the painting you can see Plato has his hand pointing up and he has his book tucked underneath his arm, while Aristotle has his hand like this and he has the book against his leg. And the person who made this, which I believe was Raphael, is called the School of Athens, right? It's a zoomed in version of like a bigger painting of all these philosophers and artists from different time periods meeting together. And the artist's point is that Aristotle the way his philosophy doesn't allow him to enter the discussion. I mean, you try walking with a book perched upon your leg, okay? You guys look really awkward. Yeah. Plato's book is tucked underneath, meaning he can go anywhere he wants, right? And so the idea is the pursuit of truth. Aristotle believed we are just what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste. We're just our senses, and that's all we are. But Plato believed that we're more than just that. There is more to the world than just what you see and just what you feel and what you hear. There is so much more to the world. And so I believe that there is a truth. And I think it's Keats in an ode to a Grecian urn. In this poem, he says, truth is beauty and beauty is truth. And that's all you need know, right? And I think the pursuit of truth is what motivates me to do this all. I got introduced to classical literature classical art, classical poetry, and classical music at the age of around 14, 15. So
Who introduced you?
It was the Schiller Institute, the organization I've been a part of now.
How did you meet? How did you find them? How'd you get?
Oh, well, because they were out in Manhattan with like posters with Obama with a Hitler stash.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Because when the whole Obama thing, I'm living here. My family's in Spain, and specifically my youngest brother. He was like, and my brother, by the way, doesn't believe in God. I'm quite the opposite, but he doesn't, and that's fine. And but he can't, for somebody who didn't believe in God, he goes, do you know? Besides a lot of things he said, I was shocked when he goes, you know, that guy's the Antichrist, like he's Satan. I'm like, you don't even believe in God. What are you talking about? But he was just, I guess he was just frustrated to be like, I can't prove it. But I'm telling you guys, like, and so I never knew that somebody put the Hitler mustache on him. I'm going,
oh yeah, this was a huge controversy with them. And I was walking around, high school is walking home to the subway, and I would see their tables like every other day. And it's big. You'll see. It's like, it's, if you just Google Obama Hitler, like that's how big it was. Like it really was super controversial. And so I would just like challenge them, like, hey, don't you think this is fucked up? What has Obama ever done to you? Mind you, again, I'm like only like 15 years old, and I think I know everything, right? Because that's what you do. That's what you do when you're a teenager. You think you know everything.
Yeah, but maybe you just have the cojones or whatever you want to call it to fucking like the emperor's clothing.
Yeah, sure.
That was me too. I was constantly punished. I was stuck. I was locked in a convent when I was 10 years old because I was always the one pointing out shit. The nuns, I would see them flirting with the priest every time the priest would come on Sunday to give mass, especially like the Mother Superior, the director. And I'm like, and I couldn't shut my mouth. And people would say to me, why can't you just shut your mouth? Don't you see you won't get in trouble? My mother then called me a masochist. You like pain. You like it. I'm like, no, I don't. I just can't help it.
Yeah,
I can't help that you hear it, you see it, but I'm supposed to act like it's not there. What the? It's like the elephant in the room. I'm like, yo, anybody else seeing this shit? And then you get crucified. The messenger gets killed.
Yeah. So I would challenge them, and then like they would make me look dumb because they would just ask me questions like, okay, well, what is it you like about Obama so much? I don't know. I'm just supposed to like him and then you realize that, okay, wait, I am supposed to like him. Why? Do I actually? I don't even know what he's good for, and then you start looking into the fact that he called Edward Snowden just some hacker, and he indicted.
And the arrogance, the way he said it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he went after Assange, and he drone striked so many innocent women and children. And how many weddings did he bomb because there was some SIM card there? All these people killed under his name. Of course, that guy earned the fucking Hitler stash. Okay, and so. And then I would come to their meetings to try and challenge them on their own home turf. But like, I wouldn't even understand what they were saying because it was like miles above me. And so I couldn't even challenge them. And so I just decided like, okay, well, there's more to this. And so I remember I told I was around them now for a few years, and I was really happy about that. And then I told my senior year high school teacher for history, like, hey, I'm associating with this group. And at first she was happy. And then she's like, oh no. They're a cult. And like that's one of the big slanders they get for, is that the LaRouche organization is a cult. But it's like my experience has never been that, right? And like, I don't know, we have disagreements within ourselves too all the time. And like, and I'm not out here wearing what you call it, whatever those friars wear, sacrificing lambs every day. It's like, no, man, it's just an organization that's on the pursuit of truth, and knowing the history of it, they went after people like George H. Bush, George Soros, Robert Mueller before it was cool to go after Robert Mueller. They were going after Henry Kissinger, like all the big names that people say now are the big boogeymen. Like we originated that work back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and today. So, yeah.
Wow. Definitely got to look into this organization. But, okay, so in a world, this to me is very important, this question, for you specifically. In a world of so much fake, especially now with AI coming out in the open, because we've had AI for a long time, but In a world of fake, right?
Mhm.
How do you, when you're doing your research, when you're coming to your truth and your conclusions, how do you make sure that your information is correct? How can we all make sure that our sources are good? Tough question.
No, it is a little bit. The way to do it is this. First, you look at what the narrative is, what the mainstream narrative is, right? So you see what is being pushed is like, this is what to believe. Don't believe anything else. This is what you believe. And then it's just a matter of asking reasonable questions here and like you can take the Ukrainian war for an example, right? The mainstream narrative is that Russia just decided to bully this poor little Ukrainian country into submission, and they invaded for no reason other than that Putin's a big old tyrant. Well, it's like, okay, is that really what happened? And so then you start looking at like undeniable facts, like 2014.
I was just gonna say that. Sorry.
2014, Joe Biden and Victoria Nuland, like all of this is documented through the State Department.
Yes, it is.
So none of this is just like conspiracy theory.
Nope.
Joe Biden, when he's vice president, and Victoria Nuland are funneling money to Ukrainian Nazis, to overthrow President Yanukovych. And then they successfully do it in what they call the Maidan coup. And then Victoria Nuland on a leaked phone call. So this is her own voice. Again, none of this is conspiracy theory.
That's what I'm saying.
This is her own voice. We just got Yanukovych out, and then Biden will decide who goes in next. Why is a vice president of the United States deciding who gets to go in as the next president, right? What the hell is going on here? And so there are just some things that, like, you just and then if you are somebody who doesn't know anything at all, it's important, like in terms of like politics. This is why it's important to read Plato and understand Plato, because that's what it goes after. How do you know what you know is true? How do you know what is true? How can you trust that what you think you know is real and right?
I talk about it all the time. I talk about if you haven't read Plato, the Republic of Plato, I'm like, just start there, please. Just start there, and then maybe look into who Plato was. Because that, and I think I was 14, maybe. I think I was still in the convent, and it was one of the teachers. I mean, it was taught. Aristotle, Plato was part of our teaching,
Sure, yeah.
But I was the one that whatever I heard of him, I wanted to know more. And because they would also like say, read this chapter or that chapter of the Republic of Plato. Like we weren't told to read the whole thing, and we didn't go through the whole book. But the little that I heard, I was like, what the? And I wanted more and more and more. And it's helped me throughout my adult life to remember that shit, to be like, with politics specifically, like there can be no real democracy, right? There could be no government that's not corrupt, but like the closest that they came. And I'm thinking, if they freaking debated this a couple thousand years ago, what makes us think that we're going to come up with something better?
Yeah, sure. Well,
I'm not saying we can't. But God.
Well, I mean, people have tried, and they have made, strides that, like, Gottfried Leibniz has made, the monadology. That's like a big, hefty book about an expansion of what Socrates was talking about when it came to invisible forces that are more powerful than any kind of thing we'll ever invent, because that's what actually moves things. But regardless of it all, it really has to go down to the very basics. Because even today, a lot of people say, well, you can't really know anything because there is nothing that's objectively true. It's all subjective, right? And, people run around saying that kind of stuff, and they don't realize that if that's true, then there is objective truth, because that means your statement is true. So then, therefore, it cancels itself out. And so Plato's Meno dialogue goes through exactly that. Can you actually know something to be true? And Socrates proves, yes, you can know something. There is an objective truth to everything, and it's just a matter of investigation and discovery that can get you there. So yeah,
well
I'm
said.
giving you a 5-minute warning, by the way.
I was just gonna tell you, I looked at the time too.
Yeah.
Well, I could be here forever. Thank you so much for your time, Jose. I hope to have you on again if you want. I'm not trying to put you in the spot on a live stream, but thank you for being here. Thank you for all your intel. Thank you for sharing all your clips. And
thank you. No, thank you.
Wish you a wonderful day, and hope to talk to you very soon.
Always. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Take care. Until next time. Hey, guys. What's up? How cool was that? I told you I reached out to him and he replied right away. It was so awesome. Real great guy. But it was the first time I talked to him live. You know, I could talk behind the scenes, but no. I like to be the real raw reaction live. You know, one reaction at a time. Oh, I do have, I forgot to mention in the intro that I'm planning on doing a live reaction of a new artist that Ren did a shout out and I've never heard of. And I thought, ooh, that would be interesting and cool. And I'll even like tag Ren to let him know that, hey, I got you because I'm all about the power of the people. So yeah, oh my God. So Andrea, thank you for the super chat. She says, can I send you, let me see. I just want to make sure I read it right because I was trying to triple task. Oh, why can't I? Here we go. Can I send you a link to the video, that insightful to Crowder video? So guys, let me show you real quick how, let me see if I can show you the entire like window, maybe right here. Is that it? Well, hey Tanya, how you doing? I didn't see you till now. Hey, the Canadian white trash guy, Evil V Twin, everybody on Rumble, I love you. Well, I'm sorry if I missed you guys. Hope you guys can come back and see the replay for those who haven't been able to, or maybe you weren't just interested in that conversation, but I think it was extremely important. And this guy, I think he was great. I loved him. Oh my God, I could talk to him forever. Okay, so I was actually trying to show the entire screen or like all the tabs that I have open. Let me see. Window. Okay, entire, no, I don't want the entire screen. I don't want you guys to see everything that's on my screen. Window, why can't I Chrome tab? Oh, maybe this one. No, that's not the one I want. Okay. All right, whatever. Let me tell you something. Number one, if you haven't become a Locals member, become a Locals member. It supports my work, and you get exclusive content, to say the least. Also, check out my merch store. I'll share those links later on in the live. But in the meantime, I got the reaction song that I'm going to wrap up today's live stream with at the end. But here is some commentary. I'm not sure if I really want to get into the commentary of the video I did, the last one, where I give a breakdown of Steven Crowder's video. Just real quick for everybody. I don't know if they're going to watch this far, but you must. Before you make a comment, or actually, no, go ahead. Do whatever you want. Make whatever comment you want. But can you watch everything I've said about this person? Can you even check? I love when these people are like, oh, she came up to this conclusion, a 3-minute video. It's like, first of all, of course not. You should have looked. Has she talked about this guy before? Let me check it out. That's what I would do. But I get it. You just react, or you just want to say whatever you want to say. You should. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to make sure I'm very clear. I've also invited people like this individual here, Joshua Garcia. I'm like, hey, why don't you join my live stream? I don't know if I've missed them in the live chat, guys. Let me know. Because again, are you saying this because you're a defender of Crowder, or maybe you're just thinking that I'm bashing the dude, and because I'm not really taking like it sounds like I'm taking Hillary's side. This was not about Hillary and Crowder. This is about how you talk to someone. It doesn't matter if it's 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Do I really need to know somebody if I see a guy yelling or a girl yelling at a guy in the middle of the street or abusing a kid? Do I really need to know that person to realize that what you're doing is not good? Like, come on now, guys. Like, don't get defensive, because the problem is that when we start liking people, I get it. And it's like what this guy was talking about on my live stream with my guest, José Vega, where disappointment, I get it. It's not cool. It's not fun. But anyway, so I'm going to go down the whole thing. I did mention last week that I would be going down to let's recap some of these videos of what's already been said and done between Crowder, Candace. I don't care about Crowder and Candace and how they're screwing each other and how they're, threatening each other. It's all bullshit, and that's exactly my point. How are these people professional? How do you follow somebody that acts like this? Both of them. I'm not on either side. Keep your business affairs private. Your personal affairs private. But Crowder, let's not forget, was the first one to mention the divorce. And then said really bad things. Like, he did not enter the scene with some good shit out of his mouth. Like, where's his counselor or his publicist? Like, are you kidding me? All these things take into account. But what I will also say, regardless of the fact that I've watched everything, read everything, and I have reasons to speak about this, one, because if you're going to speak up for men, we got to talk about all these things. He's just a good example as far as the latest example, something that people can relate to because it's happening in real time, right? I'm not here to exploit his divorce, but by no means is it going to help anybody to feel that someone's a victim. We all have to take responsibility for our behavior. Period. End of story. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. Okay, we're all adults here. This is not about let's defend this person because we like him. Or maybe you don't even give a shit about him, but you're like, hey, it seems like she's attacking because she's a female attacking the male. Hey, don't judge a book by its cover. The truth is the truth. And what trumps everything even more is that no one is taking into account intuition, instinct. Really? This is why people get in shitty relationships, because your instinct is always there. Whether you listen to it or not, it's always there. You know who's right for you, whether you ignore it or not. One of the things that Crowder said in that video, again, if he's so freaking smart and he's someone in the public eye, I don't know. I think I mentioned it in the last stream when I mentioned it, but at the same time, why would you have a Ring doorbell in your backyard knowing that footage you don't own, regardless if Hillary did it? Do I think it was right that Hillary leaked it out? Like, we don't know, right? Allegedly, it seems like she did. Whatever. If she did or didn't, that's not here or there. The truth will come out one way or the other. But if somebody just came out and said, I married the wrong woman, that's just one thing that came out of his dumbass mouth. The reason is because, again, I get it. Like, if somebody told you your mom, your dad was, did something really bad and you really loved your mom and your dad, I get it. It's hard to swallow. Disappointment sucks. But that doesn't change the facts that they could have been better. They could have done it better. We can go on and on. This is a one-sided conversation, which is why later on this live stream, I'm also going to give you guys a chance to call in. Let's talk about it. It's too easy to be like, oh, again, let me go back to some of the comments. First-time watcher. So what I appreciate about this individual is that at least they say it in the first 3 words, first-time watcher. Okay, so you know nothing about me, but it's okay. You should have your opinion, and I want you to share it with me. But you don't try to do any other research? You don't look at any other video that I might be talking about the subject? Number 1. Number 2, do you know what I'm talking about? I'm all about talking the truth and just showing insight, perspective, one reaction at a time. Oh, I know. Forgot my intro today, but that's my intro. And I do it with love and humor. Now, if I'm talking about somebody you like and you don't like it, that's another story. That's got nothing to do with me. It's a personal thing now. Or if you think because I'm speaking about a man and you're a man, you see what I'm saying? We got to take a step back because this is not helping. We should be able to say things and understand that's not one statement means everything. But you're telling me also that instinct doesn't count for anything? No. I was going to say half the problem, but I would even say more than half the problem. People don't listen to their instinct and their intuition. And all animals have it. Let's not forget we are animals. Albeit a very incredible animal with incredible intelligence. But I'll just leave it at that. This individual calls me an alpha Now, that's your opinion. You're a first-time watcher. How many videos did you see? I'm alpha. Somebody can have a big mouth and not be alpha. And first of all, I've never called myself alpha. I don't think I'm an alpha. This doesn't upset me. My point is, we can't have a conversation like this. This is not a conversation. This is, Olga did say to men, be careful with the words that come out of your mouth. And yes, that's good advice. So I appreciate that they mentioned that. But then they're like, I would consider like maybe not taking advice of this person who claims, a 3-minute video. No, there's more than 3 minutes, Joshua. Okay. And I have mentioned it. So I would appreciate you talking to me. I put the links in, I take calls. Another one, this woman literally attacks Stephen for 30 straight minutes. Again, did you hear the part of what I was doing and saying and why I was doing it? This wasn't about Stephen. But then again, I also will say that he's a liar. And he's throwing drama where drama didn't have to be. That was a bad call on him, regardless if I like him. And I told you guys, and if you haven't heard it from the get-go, from many, many live streams before, that he's an actor. He should stick to his lane instead of pretending to be a Christian, a married, a conservative. That's not, he's the man, be a man. No, he's using certain words. Just be an entertainer, dude. Just stick to your lane. That's all I'm saying. You can't act like you are the leader of the free speech movement when you're not. It's got nothing to do with that 3-minute video of his marriage and divorce. The only main thing that 3-minute video did for me in particular is just prove that this person is not a victim. Even if, and I said it, if you watch the entire video, I said, even if that wife never did a dish, never did any traditional wife duties, let's say she just sat on her ass all day, ate bonbons, talked to her girlfriends, and spent his money, did absolutely nothing, including not even having sex with him. You still don't talk to someone like that. And in fact, why would you stay with someone that is useless as a wife? Why did it take you so long? Why did you get them pregnant? Why also his little surgery, remember that? Where he had to share it with the world again? But then we don't know. Allegedly, it was an elective surgery for his pecs. That could be a lie. Of course, it all could be a lie. But I trust my instinct. It's not about a 3-minute video. Have you ever had a human being say to you, I don't love you, that calmly? That's not the point. That's not my business. My business is he's out there asking people to sign up to his mug club, which I did when he said, I'm leaving the blaze and, people are messed up. They're not trying to defend free speech and I'm going to do it. Well, he didn't. And what about his half Asian attorney? What about that? When we can go on and on and on. At least do some research about who I am and what I do. Because the one thing about me is I'm consistent. And there's not one person out there that can never say that I did not help them or change their life or spoke truth, whether they liked it or not. That's a fact. I have proof of an entire lifetime. Does that make me a perfect person? Fuck no. That's the point. I'm not supposed to be perfect. But why are you assuming things before you're doing your research? So like this comment, she's making it sound like this guy is a homosexual dictator. Again, that's your projection. That's your interpretation, which is okay. I shared the clip of him saying it. Maybe you just didn't see it. Maybe you didn't watch the whole live stream, or maybe you didn't watch the other two prior. He said it himself. I have a Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde issue with my bisexuality. That doesn't make him a bad guy. Good for you, dude. Do you. But don't come out there acting like you're a victim. That's a lie. It's that simple. Okay? It's that simple. I take responsibility for all my shit. And that's where we're at. Everybody nitpicking, taking sides. That's not helping us, people. The truth. The truth. You don't like it? I get it. The truth sucks. Why do you think they call it growing pains? I'm with you. So again, I appreciate your comments. But This one, I don't even understand this one. I can't with this. I can't even watch it. In quote, you have the wrong in caps channel then, my dear. I don't even get that. That's not even a complete sentence. Just saying. I can't even answer some of these comments. I want to. Wait. This one. It's hard to follow when you don't watch it through to see things develop. Plus, you added so much context, imaginary or what you'd feel expect, that has no real relationship to what's going on. What are you guys talking about? Give me some more. This is why I take Collins. Come, meet me. Meet me. If you know me at all and if you watch more of my videos, you will see. I am what I am. Kind, giving, loving, honest, consistent. Consistent. Crowder has a consistency of screwing people over. What happened with Gay Jared? If I said that one right? What happened with the Dave Landau? Okay? Who hasn't seen this clip? I figured you don't need me to reiterate. Please watch this clip. This guy, which I don't even know, I just found it today looking for some more intel. And apparently Natalie Corzin, which is Hillary's sister, she's now deleted. I tried to look her up on Twitter, and she, I guess, deleted or went private. It's not showing up. Can you see? Just want to see, make sure you guys can see this. Okay. I looked her up. Then we got Candace. So I wanted to get into the Candace clip that I'm sure you all already seen, but I didn't break it down. And I told you guys, I'm going to break it down.
To make the tough decisions necessary to stop.
This.
So a bit of a breaking.
So, and I'm going to break down her ass. All of them. The point is, the fact that they're so low, but you're still going to watch them. What are you watching? If you're watching them, it's for entertainment. I actually plugged in this morning to see, because he always comes up with good stuff. You know, it's like the latest. He'll show clips that I didn't see yet or heard of. And I like them for that. That's it. But don't go out there saying you're going to stand up for free speech. And you're a good man and a man's man. And you protect your wife and your family. I called him out 2 months ago and I said, hey guys, anybody looking at the fact that he never mentions his kids, no pictures, even when you look at Hillary stuff, like, oh, that's wrong of me? To question? If I'm dating you, I want to know who the fuck you are. I don't want to live in a delusion. I don't want to cry 10 years later and have a shitty divorce that they're having. That's what lies gets you to. What did he say? Then he comes back on? You tell me what? Forget the 3-minute Ring video that this guy so smart would have in his house. Are you kidding me? And now look at this. Who hasn't seen this? Right? This is what, from Friday? Let's play this for a second. You show me. As a professional, this is terrible. Again, does he have a publicist? Does he even listen? I will actually go and to tell you, I'll defend him in one way. More than anything, he needs to take a break. He needs to get out of the limelight for a second, if not for maybe forever. I don't think this guy, he's very emotionally not well, guys. That's what I meant. This is not somebody stable and a leader. It's all for show. It's all for clicks. It's all for mug club. It's all for money. The ego's gotten clouded here. Candace is the same shit too. Okay, hold on. Let's see.
Requesting privacy in the best interest of the family, but also by court order agreed.
Wait, how is that the truth,
I commented
guys?
on my ongoing divorce.
He was the one that came on his show right here.
I'm here to address some issues out there.
Why do you have to address it? Who said you have to address it? Just saying.
That are circulating. It's never fun. But, well, I guess let me be clear.
He loves this shit. This is like a narcissist right here. Why? You don't have to say anything. If people are asking, hey, man, you still married? Haven't seen you with a wife. Okay, maybe you could have been like, hey, guys, just let you know. My wife and I decided to separate and we're going through divorce. And I wish, privacy. Done. Move on. No. He continues. He hung himself.
Here, I have been living with a proverbial boot.
And the reason why I'm passionate about this is because men are getting hung. Men are getting screwed. And you know, if you've been watching me, how much I believe and defend men. And the more real men we have, the more real women you're going to find and create. You get it? Somebody's got to lead, guys. You can't wait for the woman to become a woman and then the real man's going to become a man. Now, don't work that way. Because women, by nature, right, predominantly, just instinctually, want to be taken care of, right? All men can say that. Whether you want to call it a gold digger, whether you want to call it an ignorant, young, dumb, you know what? This is not a man. A man does not do this shit. Unless you're mentally got problems, which again, then there's a lack of maturity. These are facts. I get it. It hurts. The truth hurts, but it will set you free. And in fact, if you love him, we should support him in getting help and shutting the fuck up.
For going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through.
Yeah, since 2021, this guy's been, while telling everybody else how to have kids, how to raise kids, how to have a marriage.
What has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear.
Right there, the word horrendous. Now, again, just like the other comment, she just spent 30 minutes talking about how, dude, how am I not going to pause it? Those words matter. Words matter. Horrendous? How is it horrendous, Stephen? No, it's that feel sorry for me. I'm the victim. And again, bad publicity, bro. That's bad. That doesn't help you. But because if you are in the victim mentality,
fidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side, and no, this was
nobody asked you that. We didn't need to hear that. See? Why can't you just say, I'm going through divorce, just letting you know. Thanks for inquiring. I'm going to keep it private. Hope for you to, give us privacy during this hard time. Done.
My choice. My then wife decided.
And then he says it wasn't my choice. That's why that video got him to react on this video. Now you can't stop. Now you want more. You want more.
Divorce on Tuesday.
All right.
I commented on my ongoing divorce.
You didn't
on
comment
Tuesday.
on your ongoing divorce. You did this.
My choice.
Wasn't my choice. Oh! Well, really? No wonder it wasn't your choice.
Then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore.
Again, he didn't have to say any of that.
And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted. It's been
victim. He's an actor, for God's sakes, people.
The most heartbreaking experience of my life. What I consider to be my deepest personal failure. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible. And I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible.
And that 3-minute video doesn't tell you anything, right?
But in today's legal system, my beliefs don't matter. In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it.
Why does he keep iterating that? I didn't want the divorce because I believe in marriage. That's what pisses him off about the 3-minute video. When somebody says, forget about everything else he said, that was unnecessary, negative, abusive, not loving at all, not even as a gentleman. I mean, he could have hated the bitch and been nicer. That's a fact. So, again, do we really want to go down through every freaking word he said? You love this guy, I get it. Watch him enjoy his entertainment. But as far as he's a leader and a man for free speech and for you and me and our rights, that's not true. That's it. It's nothing personal. And for men out there that are suffering and wondering, if they're going to be a real woman, well, like that guy commented, oh, she's alpha. Why am I alpha? I'm really not alpha. I sound alpha because I have a big mouth. I'm loud. I speak truth. I have courage. Do you really need to be alpha to have courage, guys? I don't think so. It's called passion. But in a world of fake, in a world of zombies and video games and delusion, I look alpha. That's pretty pathetic. Look up the word passion. Look up people that are really passionate about things. He sounds like it, but he's also an actor. That's all I'm saying. I'm not acting. He screwed up his own friends and family. Okay, let me take that back. I don't know about his family, but friends, colleagues. The guy lies. The guy uses people. He hides shit. That's who he is. He doesn't do business well. So maybe you should take a step back and figure out how to treat people. But no, because if you're the victim, you don't have to change anything, do you? That's my point here. If you think as a victim, you're getting nowhere. That's what I used him as an example. That's like the main reason. Let's go back to this one real quick. This one. So he couldn't just shut up. No, he had to. That's why I believe, again, I don't know, allegedly, Hillary might have, presumably, that she leaked the video. But if you're up against somebody in a public eye with all this adoration and you're just quiet and nobody knows anything about you and somebody's talking like that about you, she wanted to leave me. And what if that's not true? Wouldn't you give something out? Maybe it was the lawyers that told her, hey, I think you should do this. Maybe that'll get him to shut up. No! What lawyer does he have, or he's not listening to, that he does this as a follow-up?
Requesting privacy in the best interest of the family, but also by court order agreed upon by all parties.
There's the power trip again. Do you see? That 3-minute video had that power trip in it. Just like the first lie of, okay, I'm going to tell you about my divorce, and it's horrendous. No, what, really? Horrendous? Dude, have you gone to war? Have you seen horrendous? Because I understand you might feel horrendous, but you went through 2 years. Fine. Acting for 2 years. Fine. Without missing a bump and running your business and giving Landau a shit fucking deal. Just saying, Mr. I'm gonna oust the Daily Wire and show you how they're sellouts to YouTube. And they are. But then what did you do? You go to Rumble. You're already on Rumble, bro. Why did you have to act? Oh, because Rumble's going to pay you now. It's different than just going to Rumble like me and everybody else and getting nothing for it. I got you. But tell the truth. Tell the truth. Man, power corrupts, guys.
Broken marriages are ugly, and in them people do ugly things. Myself, of course included, I would never claim otherwise. However, due to recent misleadingly...
You just claimed last week, or like the video before this one, how she wanted it. Oh, you didn't say you did anything wrong.
Edited leaks to the tabloid press without context and not subject to consequences of the court.
Wait. How much context do you need when somebody says, I don't love you? What context? Again, she could have been all day calling him all kinds of names, throwing shit at him. And that, if she did all that, right? Let's just hypothetical. Then you can say to somebody, I don't love you. Or take an Uber. You can let them cry. I mean, if she was acting and crying, which I don't believe because I felt it. I don't feel it because I'm a woman and she's a woman. It takes one to know one, meaning you can hear and feel a person's feelings. It's not because she was a woman that I was on her side. It's because I felt it. And I've also had people talk to me like he has. And I've also been the perpetrator. And I've mentioned that for those who don't follow me and really hear all my stories. I've mentioned how I have not been the greatest person in my past, and I learned from it. But the first thing you have to do is take responsibility. Yes, the first thing I did when I did screw up major on one of the love of my life, the first one anyway, was I was pushing him away. I mentioned this already before. And then I regretted, of course. And I couldn't take it back. They didn't trust me. All right. But immediately I took responsibility. But then I suffered the consequences of them not forgiving me. And I couldn't go back. Again, so I'm speaking for both, and I've been on both sides of this coin, 100%, because I have the integrity to tell the fucking truth. Because I have no ego. I've lost it all already, got it back, all that shit. First of all, I was just never like this to begin with. I made mistakes, but to me, this person is not just making mistakes, and it's not immaturity. This person, in this particular case, Crowder, has not learned from anything yet. I believe he's gotten away with games, lying, victimhood. That's what I think. I think he's completely lost. And he really thinks that he's going to keep pushing forward and win. You got to be honest, man. You got to take some ownership here. He's not owning it. Let's continue watching this little clip.
Well, if not privacy, the next best option is truth. So today, I have filed a motion to officially unseal all files as they relate to the matter of legal record. Finance.
And look at the way when he says that. Look how he blinks his eyes, looks down and out for a second.
To officially unseal all files as they relate to the matter of legal record.
So he goes, illegal, and he looks away. Legal record. So what? What are you going to come up with? What, does she have an affair? Oh, this is going to be good. Not because I give a shit or because I'm into your drama. It's, how is this helpful?
Finances, relevant medical records, including mental health history or evaluations, depositions, and any motion.
Okay, so, this is going to be, here's my thing. If you say medical records, mental evaluations, so get this, guys. Is this an insinuation? Let's just put it out there. Just let's food for thought. Like we're just debating here. We're just hypothetically speaking. Does this mean that, so let's say this person, in this case, Hillary, has mental issues. And he's been the victim. That still will never change the way you spoke to a pregnant person who you claim to be the man, the caretaker, the leader. That's still never going to change that you said, not just I don't love you, but let's not forget parts of that video where he's like, what's the part? Watch it. You know, it's all these little things that it's like, it doesn't even matter what he said. Why would you have a Ring doorbell or camera in your backyard if you're so smart?
Or sanctions from the courts of Texas. I will not be leaking private marital information to the press, but if the privacy agreements are not respected by all parties, I will address all that is a matter of irrefutable legal record in full context next week. I commented on my...
Now, doesn't this sound familiar with the whole Daily Wire thing? I will release, if this doesn't go... Same with Daily Wire. You guys know who you are. So if you don't, I have receipts. And then he comes up with a recorded phone call. Where? And who are you if you think recording people's phone calls without their knowledge is a good thing? Because if that's you, then I can totally understand why you think that I can look at a 3-minute video and that's it. That's it. Really? Really? Has anybody ever recorded you? I mean, come on. Come on. I've had people record me drunk, videotape me. So far, they haven't used it against me. Well, they've used it to my face. I got you last night. So what? See, I got nothing to hide and I got no shame. I accept myself. And I don't preach what I am not. So it's very easy for me to get out of bed and somebody say, did you see yourself last night? You were drunk. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. So what? So you shared to the world that Olga was drunk. Okay, yeah, that was me drunk. And maybe you could take it out of context. Okay, but what did I do? Did I hurt somebody? Did I steal? You see what I'm saying? It's not just about getting somebody in the wrong context or very short. It's, so what? What did I do wrong? That's the question. What did I do wrong in that video? So say you see me drunk in a video and you see me yelling at somebody. Not just somebody. Let's say my partner, my spouse. I don't have a spouse right now, but boyfriend, whatever. What? I'll tell you the story, but I'm not going to sit there and go, I'm going to sue you. I would just come up and say, yeah, before that, this person, cut off my internet or something like that, and I'm like, yeah, what the fuck you doing? I'm trying to get on the phone, right? And that would give you context. Where's the context? He's not saying it, but he's another threat here. Another threat, just like the Daily Wire. It's like, the truth is, this is not the way you handle your private affairs. 100%. This is not. And if anybody watches this and keeps following it, supports this, they like it. So my point is, then you don't really follow this person because they really represent family values and Christianity and being a real man. That's all I'm saying. That's it. They're an actor. You're into the drama. That's it. No problem. You get it? All right, guys. There's more. I mean, here's like, as you can see, I'm sure you've already seen at this point, you know, Hillary Crowder's release statement about the divorce while Stephen told his side of the story on Tuesday, April 25th episode of Louder with Crowder. Hillary is telling hers now. Well, he's the one out there opening his mouth. But nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. Everybody wants to talk about, let's not take things out of context. Okay. And so that, again, once again, so you just push aside the fact that your instincts, what you see, you didn't see. You just walked into your husband. Let's just say you walk in your husband, your wife, and you see them butt naked and having sex with someone else. You didn't just see that. What's the classic thing? They get up. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. Do you know what I mean? Come on, man. Let's stop gaslighting ourselves and everybody. And like I said, do I really want to get into the whole Candace thing? Do we really want to break down what she said? Because she was horrible. I mean, this is not what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to make them look bad. I'm trying to say that these people are all shills and fake and lying, and they don't represent good people that are conservative, American-loving, Christian, God-loving people. And what I mean by that is good people. These are not good people. They are just actors. They are just getting paid. That's it. So know what you're watching is all I'm saying. How simple is that? The truth will set you free. It's not my truth. It's the truth. So instead of me having to prove, why don't you prove to me? Prove to me in that 3-minute video or any of his comments. And Candace, prove to me. If you love these people and you think they're so awesome, prove to me what makes them awesome. Show to me, what have they done? Don't give me this like Crowder with giving gifts to people. On whose money? I want to see Crowder be broke and help a neighbor. Show me that. Show me that. Like I said, he's got great talent. Candace, she knows how to speak. She does represent a certain group. Good for her. But I think, I'm sorry, but what's her expertise? She just had an opinion, made a speech about it, and everyone's like, oh, we got somebody to speak for a certain group and certain, okay, good. But what has she done? I'm just saying. The only people I kiss their ass are the people that have done good things, that are selfless. Those are the people. Everyone else, Well, see, when I can't, a one-sided conversation can go on and tell you everything. We're going to have to continue this conversation. So let's continue the conversation instead of, one and done. Do your research, do your homework. Bring it on. That's the reason I even started this channel, because I'm tired of seeing YouTube people attack each other, defend each other, take sides. The truth is the truth. Hold our standards high. Truth, honesty, integrity, consistency. It's that simple. Too busy trying to make themselves look good. Bitch, I've already seen it all. One of the hardest things to do is to see your own ugliness. And that's my point. If we are not able to look at ourselves, then you're going to be a perpetual victim. And it's not about women and, how do you find a real woman? Well, fucking a real man doesn't act like that. That was my main point with that story. Same with Candace. When she's like, I'm a wife and I don't have a problem if I make my man a sandwich. Yeah, I make my man a sandwich too. But like, what? Does anybody look into who Candace married? The bloodline that she married into? I'm not saying that's nothing wrong. I heard from Dave Rubin. According to Dave Rubin, I don't know, but according to him, it's true love. Maybe it was. But these are not people that I've seen go through shit. And I'll give you guys a list on tomorrow's live stream of real people that have been on the news, who've been interviewed on other people's podcasts and whatnot, that have real stories of real shit and how they've overcome it and how they are, spokespeople for that. Freedom of speech. We can go down the list. Just know who your idols are, man. Know who your fake idols are. And know if you're watching somebody, it's because they make you laugh. Good. But just because they make you laugh, that doesn't make them people that are good and they care about you. All right. Thank you, Andrea Jordan, for the super chat. I Instagram messaged the link. Please watch. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I got to go to a different browser. Let me see. Thank you for the super chat. Oh boy, am I going to have a lot to read about, to rewatch on all your live chats. Tanya Gray, I just don't agree with your assessment. Are you talking to me, Tanya, or somebody else in the chat? Let me see. I see something different. I see a man that's being extorted, provoked, and having his dirty laundry. We all have some. Yes, ma'am. Aired to the world. I see how you're seeing that, but hold on a second. How is he being extorted when he was the one that mentioned the divorce and he mentioned that she wanted to leave him? He didn't have to say those things. He didn't have to say she left me because she can, because it's the law in Texas. He didn't have to say those things. And I believe he started it, right? Like he said, I'm getting divorced and here's the deal. And he contradicted himself in the same time by saying, I asked for privacy, but he put it out there. Couldn't he just said, hey, people have been asking me, and yeah, I've been separated. I'm getting a divorce. I hope you respect my privacy, and that's it. Is he being extorted? What's the extortion? Because even like when Candace reacted, how is he being extorted specifically? Please let me know. Because I could be like, lost in the sauce of passion. And I want to know. I might have missed it. I appreciate you, Tanya. Oh, Tanya, you keep calling him a liar. Even today, he could be the biggest asshole in the world. That doesn't make him a liar or excludes him from being a conservative or Christian. Okay. Well, oh, girl. I hope you were able to talk. I'm going to put a link up, and I'd like to get your call in because that's the best way to have the conversation. Because that's true. Like, what do I think he's a liar about? Well, a lot. But like, instead of playing with the texting, let me see real quick. Let me see, guys. Let me see Andrea with your Instagram. And see, this is what I love. I love when you guys tell me stuff. We're supposed to disagree. How are we going to have a conversation if we don't disagree? You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate your comments, Tanya, as always. So I'm looking at my messages. Let's see, Andrea. Okay, Andrea. I think I got, okay, accept. Okay. So this is, who's lying? Fact checking Hillary Crowder's. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Let me see if I can open this. Yeah, like we could be here all day. I wonder if at this point I could even do a live reaction. This is some good. Hold on. All right. Oh, I see. All right, Anja, you see this? Oops. Okay. That's so funny. Do you know that I've reached out? I just actually sent this girl an email because I want to debate her on the whole Crowder thing. Again, it's just because we're YouTubers and we keep pointing out what we think are facts or truth based on whatever information that we have in our perception. So I see this, Andrea. So here's what I'm going to do.
Let's read a little bit because I know there's a statement from the family. We're not going to read this whole thing. You guys can read it on Yasser's Substack if you want. Let's see. They're talking about when Steven made the video the other day. And, oh, hang on. I'll get the other super chats in a sec, guys. One sec. They're talking about when Steven made the video the other day. And basically threw his wife kind of under the bus and made this big deal about the fact that she really wanted to divorce him. And he quite frankly didn't seem to think that that should be allowed. And like I said, that was weird to me at the time, but I wasn't sure how to interpret it. So I just didn't want to comment on it because it wasn't the main crux of the point I had anyway. And so they're talking about that. And that's where we're going to start. Let me just take these two super chats. Sin says, before Hillary could get pregnant, she got Jillian Barr. He got her a Tesla so she could drive. She has some physical issues. Then what's going on with the car? Because it kind of seemed like they only had one car. Maybe I misunderstood what we heard. I don't know. There could be individual cars, one for the house, and hers is just broken down at the time. More info is needed. Well, yeah, I think that that's probably the case. Because if Steven Crowder really didn't get his wife car, that to me says control issue. It screams control issue. Let's read.
I believe this person
Crowder bemoaned Texas no-fault divorce law several times in his statement. No-fault divorce laws allow either party in a marriage to get divorced without requiring a cause or a...
I believe Karen is also a psychologist or counselor, right? This Carolyn, sorry, this YouTuber.
Abuse or infidelity. It wasn't the first time Crowder had talked about his disgust for such laws. What Crowder didn't mention was that his very private wife, who hardly appears at public events and is rarely photographed, had made a request via her attorney that her husband not discuss their divorce at all. Steven Crowder dismissed the request and spoke about their divorce and their marriage for about 5 minutes in a clip that went viral. So this also is a control issue, by the way. If Steven Crowder was asked very nicely by his wife's lawyers to not talk about the divorce at all, and Steven Crowder ignored that and decided to make that video the other day, that is also a control issue on the part of Steven Crowder. Let me explain. Steven Crowder obviously has issues with the fact that his wife is divorcing him. Okay? So he obviously has these issues, and guess what? He might feel very out of control because he has no control over the fact that his wife is divorcing him. So because Steven Crowder feels like he's been taken out of control by his wife, he then has to come in and reassert control in the situation. By the way, this is a very narcissist thing to do. I'm not suggesting that Steven Crowder is a narcissist, but everyone has narcissistic tendencies,
True.
They can be known to come out at times, especially if you're under stress, things like that. And so it is a very narcissistic thing to, if you get taken out of control, to reassert yourself to establish control in the relationship. When Steven Crowder decided to throw his wife's request that he not talk about the divorce out the window and talk about it anyway, that was a way of Steven Crowder reasserting himself and saying, you don't control what I say.
I'm going to pause it there, guys. That was some good stuff. I haven't seen that one, and I've been watching a lot of her commentary about the Crowder thing. And like I said, for me, I think she goes more, well, we'll talk about it. I'm going to take a quick break, guys. You know I need my little break, and guys, you know I typically take a break, by like at least 2. I'll be right back, a few minutes. Do your thing, please. Get ready. I put the link. I'm going to put the link back again. Let me make sure I put the link in for Rumble too. I'm live on Twitter, on Rumble, on YouTube, if I disappear somehow on YouTube before I say goodbye, it wasn't me. It was probably the boob tube. So make sure to follow me on Rumble. The link's in the description below, but it's also Olga S. Pérez. And I will see you guys in a few minutes. And all right, and we're gonna continue this. I don't know. I guess at this point, I knew I was gonna bite off a lot, and I think this is important, guys. So thank you so much for being here, for watching, for commenting, Tanya. Oh my God, I really hope you're able to call in. But definitely, this is some good stuff. I love you guys. This is what I live for, man. Like, because I think that what happens a lot, it's not the fact if we disagree. I think that because when you're talking and it's like basically one-sided, when I'm just talking at the camera, that it's not the same as if you and I were sitting together. So I really want it to be like we're sitting together. Like you came over my house, I came over your house, we met at a bar, something like that. We're having a discussion. So I'll be right back. Get ready, share this content if you haven't already. Get more people on board. Again, people that disagree with me, bring them on. That's what this is about. All right, guys. I'll be right. Wait. Oh, shoot. I'm like, wait, where's my thing? I'll be right back. Don't go too far or come right back. I'll be right back. Welcome back, all you wonderful, amazing humans. If you're a truther, I don't give myself labels. I'm not a truther, but I like to say what I think, and I want to hear what you guys have to think. Who's with me? I sent the link. Who wants to talk about this? Tanya, I would love for you to call in if you can. I put the link in the live chat. You should be able to click the link and you can call from your phone. You don't have to show your face. You can just talk. And you're like your icon or, favicon or whatever will show up. So let's talk about it. Hey, Carrie, great to see you. Andre, you're still here. Thank you for sharing that link. I'll go back to it. Hey, Marty, great to see you. Switchback Browsy, I think. I know, right? What's going on, Ian Mortimer? How you doing? Great to see you. Bass Anderson. Mr. X, hello. Thank you, guys. Hey, the Salty Sabbath. The Salty Sabbath, I like that. So who's with me? Who wants to chime in on this conversation right now, real, raw, and live? Do not be afraid. I'm not here to argue. I want to know what you guys have to say, and so that it maybe whatever you have to say will clarify what I'm trying to say. Because, right now it's like one-sided when I'm just talking to you like this in this format. But here's the rest of this that we were playing earlier. Let's see what else this commentator has to say. Carolyn Borisenko, I think it's how you say it.
That was a control issue. The fact that he made that viral video in spite of all of this, and probably knowing, quite frankly, that it's a really bad effing idea, that was him exerting control so that he could gain some sense of ownership over the situation. Does that make sense to people?
Discover the Ozempic Zone.
I know people said you can use Brave browser. I actually do use Brave browser. But with this software, for the live streams that I use, you can't hear the audio if I use. So even if the commercials don't pop up, then you won't be able to hear.
Ask your healthcare provider about Ozempic.
Hypebeast called me a voice of a generation.
God, they're not paying me for this. Ew.
I don't think that was a compliment.
They won't even let me skip it. Here we go.
A new wrinkle on the brain podcast says,
I mean, this is a 23-minute video, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, but
Crowder seems like she was
points
on punishment. That's a really good way to put it, a new wrinkle on the brain. She was like on punishment. The discipline comment rubs me the wrong way. Maybe Hillary had something else going on, thus he wanted to go and her stay home. Why was she in such a rush? I completely agree with you. That was, and he kept saying discipline, discipline, discipline. And she's like, Steven, I'm going to the store. Like,
see what I mean? These are the kind of points that I'm seeing too. Hey, the Major. Great to see you. I'm glad you can make it. Hey, thanks for the link. Was it Swanimo on the Rumble chats? Guys, look at this Rumble chats. Tanya Gray's got a lot of good points that I really wanted to get into. I say, Tanya Gray goes, why? I think someone threatened to release the video to the public, and that, in caps, is why he has to come forward. But you mean that's why I want to talk to you, Tanya. Like, so you think that he came forward at first by saying, hey, just want to address the fact that I'm getting divorced because they were threatening him. And I think, is that where the whole Candace Owens thing comes in prior to even Candace Owens saying anything? Like, she was acting like, I was being nice. I knew about it, but I didn't say anything. I get that. All I care about is people being honest. And as you said in a comment earlier, Tanya, about, where did he lie? I'm like, well, he said he was about free speech and censorship. But at the end, what I've experienced is just sign up to my mug club because Blaze is not going to give me the list. That's what I've gotten. and I signed up to it. So it's not that because he didn't respond that I'm like, oh, he's a liar. No, I'm just going, what happened to the half Asian or part Asian lawyer that was battling YouTube and his whole thing for recording the DW and putting it all out there? Like, okay, now what? Like, you recorded somebody without their consent. Like, these are not good things to do. But again, we could all make mistakes. We can do things wrong to get our point across, 100%. But you're acting like, not you, Tanya, Crowder. If you're acting like you're a victim, I don't see how. If somebody's going to extort you, but your hands are clean. Like, you see what I'm saying? I got so many questions to ask you and to ask all of you. You don't want to get it. So again, I love the part where Tanya goes, I just don't agree with your assessment. I see something different. I see a man that's being extorted, provoked, and having his dirty laundry, we all have some, which I mentioned earlier, aired to the world. So I have so many questions. Like, so when he said, I'm getting divorced and I'm living in a state where the woman can choose to leave me, I don't really have a say in it. Which, okay, and that's a legitimate point. But it's not just that 3-minute video. But in that 3-minute video, when he says, I don't love you, what do you respond to that? If your spouse says to you, I don't love you, would you stay married to that person? Right? So many questions. Hey, the Rational Texan. Great to see you. Hey, we got a caller. The Major. Welcome. Hello, the Major.
Hey.
Hi, great
How's it going?
Thanks for calling in. How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing? I've been working all morning, so I figured I'd just pop in. But
thank you.
Yeah, that just me working all morning is pretty much why I'm calling in. I know people are interested in Steven Crowder. He's actually local to me because he's in Dallas, and I'm way outside of Dallas, thank God. But it's days of our lives for me because I just cranked like 6,000 words last week for the magazine, and there's a lot of things going on right now that Steven Crowder, having buy impulses. He and Candace Owens just need to be forcibly married and put on a desert island somewhere, and they can work it out. We can seed the island with cameras and put it on pay-per-view. We'll cover that. We'll beat the national debt in a week.
That's a good one.
I'm just saying.
No, you're totally right. But my whole thing was.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, the Major.
I think there's echo.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. I don't know. But you know what? I got another caller. Let me add this other caller in real quick. Like, don't go away. We're doing all together.
Okay.
Hello, Andrea. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I really enjoy your channel, and I just thought maybe I could give a little insight to the Crowder situation because I'm very disappointed in him.
So you used to love him, or you loved him? Like you
I
followed
still
him?
do. I think his work would change my mind, and some of the things that he's done that have really pulled people from the center to open their mind is very valuable. I think he's an asshole, no doubt. But I also think it's a shakedown. And I really didn't think that till I saw that Dr. Carlin, because she doesn't like him. She's not going to throw him any bones. And at the 8-minute mark there, she discovers that his lawyer and wife are lying. He didn't miss the birth of his twins. He announced it live on the show. And it wasn't elective heart surgery. His chest was caving in on his heart. And he almost died a week after this Ring camera video, actually. The only reason he announced the divorce is because he knew this was coming.
Oh, so it wasn't an elective. So that's
No,
another
he
lie.
almost died. A week after this Ring camera was filmed, he almost died. His lung filled up with blood, and he had to have it.
But wait,
he
how do we know this?
aspirated.
Because I remember him saying that, and I
Yeah.
remember watching that. But just because
Yep.
he says it doesn't make it a fact. How do we know it's a fact?
Well, he documented the journey at the hospital because he went to oh shit, it's a big name hospital, like not St. Jude's, but it's the equivalent of that. It'll come to me. It's Arizona, maybe, I think. That's why he was staying in a townhouse. His father saved his life. He almost died. He couldn't even call for help.
So who's the person putting, or how did it come out that it was an elective surgery?
That was what was put in the statement by the wife and the lawyer. So when that Yasser Ali and Dr. Carlin's about to find it at the 8-minute mark in that video, she starts questioning it, and all kinds of people that watch Crowder start chiming in, going, "Hey, wait a minute, that wasn't elective. He almost died. He had a birth defect, and his chest cavity was coming in on his heart and lung. If he
That's
didn't
what he
do it,
said.
he was
I
going to
remember
die."
him saying that. But
He showed the meeting with his doctor, pre-op, post-op. He showed the 911
I
call.
remember that.
Yeah, so
I
it was
saw
real. It wasn't bullshit. And he announced the birth of his twins on his show. It was his proudest moment.
I
And
remember him doing that too.
And I think that was an ugly video. And one of the callers mentioned when Dr. Carlin was going through it, maybe he was scared to be alone. I don't know if it was that or a power trip, but I think any of us could probably don't want our worst 3 minutes shown. You know what I mean?
No,
I mean,
100%. And so
I don't think he was acting correctly in that, but I really think if that's the worst, they got him because they fired their shot. His wife's lawyer, the wife's lawyer fired her shot with this video. That's the worst they had. They're going to lead with the worst they got. That's all they got.
Thank you for saying that. What would Hillary get by doing this?
Sympathy. I think she's about to try to take Crowder for half of everything. And he said it was a nasty divorce. They were married 10 years before they had the twins. So this is a long relationship. I'm sure that there's a lot of back and forth on both sides, but this was strategic.
I got you. It's a good point. But he did mention that, he didn't want kids. He had a problem with that. He had a problem with Mr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde of his bisexual past, which is fine. Like, I'm okay. You do you.
When did he mention he didn't want kids? I never saw that.
Yeah. I actually shared it in my last live stream.
Okay.
I didn't
Yeah, because I followed Crowder for a long time. And Hillary used to go to the Change My Minds with him. She's gone to, a few things, but she's always been quiet and private. And I think that's the way she wanted it.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And she's done some skits with him, like comedy skits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the Candace, I think is a bad look for Candace. I'm sorry.
I agree.
I just think it's cringe. Why even involve herself? Why?
Exactly. Like, that's the part I think she's
That's so immature.
butthurt over the DW thing. You know what I mean?
And if you were Crowder, think about this. If you were Crowder and your brand was made off of being a strong Christian conservative man, and you were going through a divorce, the clip he played of hers, that was most definitely a threat. That was most definitely a threat.
You mean
She
the
was
3-minute video, the ring.
Yeah,
video?
the minute where she said basically that if she felt threatened, there was more things that she would bring to light. That was most definitely a threat. I mean, that's how I would have took it if I was him.
The Major, what do you think? The Major, you still there?
Well,
it's rough.
Yeah, I'm here. We've still got that delay going.
See, I don't care about
but
people.
Yeah, I
like
think.
You. Go ahead. Go ahead, Major.
Yeah, we have a really bad delay there. Yeah, I think Crowder is. I think Crowder got caught up in his own brain, and
yes,
let that get away from his relationship. And
yeah,
he's if it weren't for his popularity, his exposure, this would be a non-issue for anybody else. But it's because he's out in front and we live in the society that we live in that people are taking this seriously.
Well, it's because of who he's betrayed himself to be in his beliefs, right? If he's not perfect, then it's all bullshit, right? If he's not perfect and he's not the good man and the values he purports to honor, if he's fallible, then then there's a chink in the armor. I feel like the left, especially the people that hate him, are enjoying this because if he is fallible, then everything else he stands for is bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Well, and
He
I
can
agree.
be wrong and
Well,
his
that's
values be
the
right.
perception. Reality.
Well, let me ask you a question, Andrea. What's a good man?
I think accountability. I think I would like to see him come forward and say, "Hey, you know what? It wasn't a good look, and I didn't handle this well."
Thank you.
That's what I'd like to see him do. I'd like him to say, "It doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong. I was wrong here."
Right. Just exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all I'm saying. Like, be a man.
Because I think he's going to devalue some great stuff that he's done. There's been, if you ever watched the Change My Mind on Abortion,
all of them I've watched.
well, and he
all
had
of them.
particularly one about abortion, where
And
a
he's
woman
so
who had
good
had
at
an
it, too.
abortion, a woman who had had an abortion and was very defensive because he was able to be him and inject humor. She actually like broke down and said, "Hey, this wasn't great for me. It really hurt me." And then called back in. He had her back on the show, and she said that his audience was so good to her and it really changed her perspective. That was so valuable because she was a college student who was willing to say, "Hey, I don't think this is a great thing, and nobody told me how I was going to feel afterwards."
Yes. Yes.
I feel like women aren't presented that often. You know, women aren't told about the consequences of that, just in, that case. And I also think that his willingness to say stuff that other conservatives who purport to believe whatever, they tuck their tail as soon as it gets dicey. The election, a lot of stuff. Crowder kind of went out on a limb with the election. A lot of people wouldn't touch.
True. But
he could, I get that. I get your point. He could still be an asshole.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I've been an asshole, but I've had to live up to it. And I love that you said that. It's like, I'm just like, oh shit, I fucked up.
He needs to take accountability.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, if he does that shit, I mean, it's not about, oh, please redeem yourself, make me love you again. No.
Another thing, a lot of people ask about the people he's worked with. Because I followed him for a long time, I love Not Gay Jared. I love Quarter Black Garrett. I love Landau. Not Gay Jared got pilched. He works for the Daily Wire. You know that, don't you?
Who? Gay Jared?
Oh, yeah.
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
See, this is why I like taking calls. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, he got pilched. He was one of Steven's talents. Steven has had a lot of people.
But he was gone with an NDA agreement.
Yes, but it was actually him that put forward the NDA. Tim Pool's talked about it in the episode when the big con that Not Gay Jared wasn't bound by the NDA. Crowder is.
Okay, so to me,
they started a business together. And he owned a stake in it. Not Gay Jared did. He helped build Water with Crowder, no doubt. So, yeah, I think it was a personal choice. I think Not Gay Jared, I think he felt, and from what I understand, he felt that Crowder was going a little further to the right than he was comfortable with. And he wanted to do more of the technical behind the scenes stuff where he could make the money and not take the risk, which is cool. Yeah. I mean, it ain't for everybody.
Yeah. But what about Landau?
Landau, I don't know. I think those were two big egos in the same room. Some of that stuff. First off, the 5-minute thing, that's because he was chronically late. That was discussed because of his touring. I honestly think those were two egos that didn't fit.
Andrea, I like the way you're putting it, man.
Well, and if you look back, clear up until the very end, Crowder always promoted. I can recite it right now. Dave Landau, you know him, you love him. He's going to be at such and such this weekend. Go check him out. He promoted his crap all the way up until the last episode. So that's BS. I think it was money. I think that Landau didn't want to relocate to Texas. I think that it was basic contract
stuff. That's legit.
And I think that they're both drama queens, and it was good.
And by the way, that's very natural in the entertainment industry. You know what I mean?
I think that's all good. You know,
artists.
I think the more of that we get to see from behind, like the big con thing. You know, I don't think Steve. Who gives a shit if his motives were pure? It exposed that that conservatives are being censored even in what's supposedly our own domain. But I think this shit with his wife, I think it was a low blow. I think we can all find clips of us at 3 minutes and we don't look good. I can make my husband look like an asshole in a 3-minute clip, but it doesn't show him dealing with 15 years of my addiction. No.
I got you.
I mean,
I got you 100%. Yeah.
So I think,
but like, okay, when I was younger, I did shit. Like I don't recall the exact 3-minute video, but I remember before I was 30, I was like 29. And you know, you always think you know everything, and I've been around and I've lived all over the world, all this stuff. I had my own businesses before I was even 25, 26 years old. So I didn't have like a normal life in the sense where I had a lot of responsibility. I had to raise my younger brother and sister. I mean, we can go on and on, but I had this mentality in my 20s or just growing up period where I was like, I got to be tough. You know, I can't let somebody take advantage of me or hurt me or, you know, I got to be tough, right? Like I didn't want to be a woman that was a victim.
Right.
And then I became like the perpetrator, the perp in the sense like.
See, and I see the other side of this. I was one of those people who I would give and give and give. And then when I wouldn't receive, I would be angry. And it took me a long time to realize you can't expect somebody to hold up a contract that you're the only one that signed. You know, I would give and give, and then I would get hurt.
I'm sorry.
And it's easy to take advantage of people like that, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, let's look at the body language, right? So like you said, it's easy to get like a 3-minute video of anybody, whether they're under the influence, not under the influence, but certain words like, you know, listen to me, watch it.
Oh, watch it.
I had an ex-husband that did that to me. And I
watch
was young.
The dogs in the Crowder video, though. Watch the dogs.
Get this. So my husband was in the military. He was in the Navy. And first of all, I vowed I would never marry anybody in the military because I didn't want the military to own my husband. You know what I mean?
I didn't want to be, and they do.
Yeah, because I've seen all the women suffer. And so I was I'm not going to do that. Well, then I ended up, this guy wouldn't let me go, like in a good way, right? Like he was,
right.
And it was for love. And we get married and we're living in Germany. And he was a shitty asshole, like for real. Like he didn't do laundry. I cooked clean. And I was the old school shit where he would come home from work. I'd take his shoes off. You know what I mean? Like walking in. Not that I'm trying to be like a Stepford wife or anything like that. It's just that was my way of showing love. And it's not just my way of showing love.
Well, you know where Crowder says the only way through this is discipline and respect?
Yes.
I could see where people could take that messed up, but I'm going to tell you another perspective. What if it's somebody like me who maybe has had addiction issues and isn't somebody who follows through with what they're supposed to, and conditions in a relationship such as, okay, Andrea, we're going to give it another shot, but you're going to have to follow through. You got to stick to what you say this time. You promise. And I don't. And then my husband says something like that in a video where it looks like he's being controlling. But maybe it's because I don't follow through. Maybe because I've told him time and time again, I would change. I would quit these irresponsible behaviors. Him having to get the kids on the bus because I wouldn't wake up. You know, things like that. And him saying something to me like that could be taken that way if you don't know that maybe I'm not the most reliable person.
That's true, but it's not always that way.
And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying these are all different things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. So here's the thing. So when I was married, and we decided, first of all, so I don't know if you know anything about the military, but most of them, especially if they're single and they're not married, whatever, they take like their uniforms to the dry cleaner to get like the new patch, you know, their ranks on.
Right.
And I know how to sew. So I said, oh, I can do it. Basically save them like $5, but this is like 1991. And I put his patch on and he looks at it and he goes, and again, I was 19 at the time and he was 28. And he looks at it and he's like, oh, this is not on right. He's flipping out. And again, that's normal. It's human. It's young, whatever. And then I was like, well, you could have just paid somebody to do it, but I did it. Like, it's okay if I didn't do it right. Like, why are you like be all nasty? That's not
right.
Wait till I'm getting at this. So then I started, little by little, I started to defend myself. I started to stand up like, okay, I'm not going to cook anymore. I'm not going to do your laundry. I'm not going to do all these things because you're treating me like shit. Not to mention, he wasn't even having sex with me. I had to beg for sex. So, like, we can go on and on with the details.
Right,
Here's the reason why I'm telling you this. Because I literally, at that point, did nothing wrong. And my friends would say to me, and we were living in Germany, and they were like, dude, this guy, like, totally abuses you and the way he talks to you. And he was. He was angry at his own life. He had issues, whatever it was.
Right.
But then one day, he went so far as to, like, throw the rock, throw the rock and you hide the hand. And he did something. Oh, he literally said, I'm going to tell your best friend who lived across the street from me, I'm going to tell her husband that when you guys go out, you're fucking all these men and shit. And I wasn't, and she wasn't. But he just wanted whatever power trip, whatever insecurity he had. And I'm like, dude, like, I didn't mind him shitting on me. But when he threatened my friends or, like, say, my family members, I fucking go, what? You better not. And he goes in the bathroom, acts like the victim. Never touched this guy, nothing. I'm just screaming, right? I'm a kid. I'm going, don't you dare come after my friends. He locks himself in the bathroom, records it, mind you.
And you look like a lunatic.
And he fucking shows his commander. Yeah. Look at this woman. She's a psychopath.
Oh my God, I feel you.
Talk about gaslighting. Yo, and I was young, but I guess I was smart enough because my dad was in the Navy and I've learned a few things. My parents had restaurants. I've seen all kinds of shit since the time I was like 8 years old. And I told a colleague, I was a teacher at a daycare at the time, and or caregiver, however you want to call it. And I told her, and her husband happened to be the commander of the army on the base there in Germany. And she goes, no, this is wrong. Like, it's not even I'm standing by you because you're a woman. She was like, because he says, I'm going to put you on the street and that's it. I have no responsibility for you. You get the fuck out. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I didn't have the money to buy a ticket to get out. And where am I going to go? Et cetera, et cetera. Do I go back to Spain to my family? So this woman tells me to talk to her husband, the commander in the army. And I walk in his office. He's like, tell me what's going on. My wife mentioned you. She says she loves working with it, whatever. But again, I could be a piece of shit, fake. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I go, well, I don't want to speak bad about my husband, but I just want to let you know that I don't have where to go and I don't have money to leave. And he threatened to put me on the street in Germany. And
oh my God, that'd be so scary.
Right. And he said, well, that's not even legal because as a military person, you just don't do that with the spouse.
Right. And an American citizen to boot.
Exactly. So he goes, let me make a phone call. You go home, rest well. It'll all be taken care of. I had no idea what he was going to do. The next day, now mind you, this guy recorded me in the bathroom, yelling at him, telling him, leave my friends alone. And he's showing his commander, look, I live with a psycho.
He's crazy. Look what I've got to deal with. I need out of this relationship.
And he got it on recorded and I don't. And I'm like, next thing you know, his commander, and by the way, at that moment, his commander of the Navy called me and said, let me tell you, Olga, I've heard the tapes and stuff, and we can put you on the street, and we got nothing to do with you. And then they threatened me, all this shit. And the Army commander's like, that's not true, and they cannot do that. So they were literally intimidating me. So my point is, that's just one story. But like sometimes, meaning I do understand that somebody can have a tape and make you look horrible. Right. So that's my thing. It's like, I'm not against.
Well, and I do not condone any of the behavior in that. And I was very upset, and I wrote him a letter, actually, after seeing the Dr. Carlin breakdown, who she don't like him. But about 8 minutes into that video, she discovers they're lying about the elective surgery. They're lying about several things. And then she goes to Tim Pool and points out some other stuff. But I actually wrote Stephen the letter yesterday, and I said, do not expose documents. Be the bigger person here.
Thank you.
Don't do that.
Thank you. That's
don't
what I would
play into this. Don't do it, because you can tell if you've ever watched, he's hurt. He's acting. He's not thinking. And I hope somebody in that studio says, hey, buddy, let's go have a beer and take a few days off.
Exactly.
That's what he needs. And as far as Candace, I'm reminded of Jordan Peterson. Women deal in character assassination. That's how women fight.
That's true.
She is, I think there's something more there. I really do. Why is she so bent out of shape over this? And with his following, why not leave it the fuck alone and not make any enemies? She's mad.
I agree. Dude, I have been seeing
like, what
shit
are you
with
doing?
her that I'm like, you're vicious. Like, you're just
Yeah.
not.
This isn't for the right reasons. She's not doing this for the right reasons.
No,
she don't give a shit about Crowder's wife.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. But with Steven, the only issue I have is when men, specifically, you know how men are getting beaten up right now. And I believe in men. I've met plenty of great men in my life. And I have brothers. I haven't had a father. He passed away a few years ago. But like my whole thing, the only reason I chose to talk about the Steven Crowder thing mostly is because
I think it's important. He could use this moment to show men how to behave when they're wrong.
Damn! Boom! Mic drop! I wish I had my little sound gear going.
Well,
That's
really,
my
he
point.
could. There's a lot of young men that look up to him, and that's what my letter focused on. And he's taken me on live chats before. I followed him for a while. I hope he listens. I hope his mother gets a hold of him and says, you know, you need to play smart. But I do think you really need to watch that, the 8-minute mark, and watch what Tim Pool says. This is coordinated. That's why it happened like boom, boom, boom. He knew it was coming. He made the announcement. The following day it drops. Somebody probably gave him a heads up.
Yep.
And I think he didn't want to talk about it because it's everything, you know, he's built his brand on stick together, 2-parent home. I'm sure he does consider it his greatest failure. Not because he picked wrong, probably because he did a lot of things wrong.
But see, that's the other thing. Why
Yeah.
would you say I picked the wrong woman?
I think that was just sarcasm and probably hurt.
But you see what I mean? Like, dude, grow up. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, this,
He opened the door, unfortunately, but he had to address it. It had to come from him. If that would have dropped without him addressing it, I would have had an issue too.
No, I agree, but he could have just said, hey.
Yeah, I agree.
Come to me. Hey, I'm getting a divorce. You know how it is. Or if you don't.
It's gonna get nasty. You might see some stuff that doesn't look good. I ain't perfect.
Exact. Yo.
That would have been better. And I hope he does do that. Today I watched him. He didn't really address it, and I hope it stays that way.
But the whole thing going back to DW, right? The Daily Wire, and this whole, why would you first of all, again, that's another low budget thing.
The recording. Now, I'm
record
for that.
somebody?
I'm sorry. I'm for that. Everybody says a friend doesn't record a friend. Well, a friend doesn't give you a shit deal like that. He knew that was a non-opener with Crowder.
That's true, but he hasn't. What has he changed? He's changed nothing for YouTube. He's not.
Well, I agree there, but he's been massive with Rumble. Rumble has crashed. It's gotten tons of growth. I mean, I personally know smaller reactors that have gotten tons of numbers just with Steven coming to Rumble.
That's true.
I mean, he is helping build out an alternative. And we're going to need it. I have no doubt.
Well, I love
kind of like Trump. We don't like the messenger, but the messenger's true.
That's true. But Trump's not perfect, and he's an
asshole.
Thank you.
Most men that are in positions of power are assholes. And guess what? Here's the real shocker. So are women in power. Because it takes a certain type of personality to let that shit go. How many of us could stand up to what Trump did? He's like rubber.
Absolutely. But here's my thing. If you're following anybody, whether it's Crowder, Candace, whoever, if you like them as entertainment, fine. But if you're looking like say Andrew Tate, if you're looking at them thinking, oh, that's the real man. And it's like,
no, I think we got to hold people to account or we're hypocrites.
Thank you.
I think people respect you more when you call out BS on your own side. I just think that it is important to say that it wasn't elective surgery. He had his chest cracked open 2 weeks before this and almost died a week later. So he was probably as weak as her, the truth be told.
Well, until I see the papers themselves from the doctor. Yeah, I used to be a translator for the hospitals. Until I see the actual...
I will send you the episode where he literally showed the pre-op meeting with them. They showed his x-rays, showed the condition, showed the damage it was doing to his heart. And there's an episode where when he comes back, he admitted that he pushed too hard. And I think that's probably part of what we're seeing in that video too.
And
he wasn't
said
ready.
that the wife said, I remember him saying, my wife says, you can't push yourself that far. Like, you got a family now to worry about.
Right.
I think that was after he said that they've been separated since June 2021.
Well, yeah, but at the time they were together. I think he was referring to at that time.
But that was the time.
When was that video recorded? That was recorded at the same time of the surgery. They weren't separated yet there.
I think so, based on his own statement that they've been separated since 2021.
Well, it'll help when I go back and get the videos of the surgery. That will give us context.
Yes, yes. Well, Andrea, I would love for you to help me figure this out. But my point is, it's not just, I just don't want people to lie about him. I'm not trying to lie about him, but I still stand that.
If you get a chance today, if you can, before you leave, go to the 8-minute marker of that and see where she starts unraveling
the video you
it.
sent me?
Yeah, it's about
Hold
the
on.
8-minute marker. She starts
Hold on.
unraveling it.
Here we go. Here we go. You can see on my end, right? Here we go. The 8-minute. Okay.
About 8 minutes in.
Oh, there you go. 8 minutes right here. Let's see.
He wasn't there when they were born. Wasn't that like a big deal for her to get pregnant?
Yes, it was, actually.
I would imagine.
Well, okay, so people are saying it wasn't elective. Okay, so it sounds like there's a dispute there. What was the actual surgery and was it elective? Oh, this is the
these
chest
are people that follow Crowder that are giving her
That doesn't
answers.
sound elective
But well,
to
here's
me.
the thing, though. Why does it matter to us, right? Why does it really matter to me? Why would I call him a liar? But I'm not saying he's a liar, that he lies about anything specific. I'm just saying that this
Well, it
guy...
matters to me because I support him. I have 3 sons that I have, literally watched content with. And it matters to me because I don't want to support somebody that's full of shit or an abuser.
I get it, but like you said, we all have bad days. So we can forgive him, right? But like you're saying, you want him to take accountability. So do I. No, for me he's a fake. My argument is that this guy is a fake acting, meaning, I love this. Thank you for calling me, honey. Because when you're talking by yourself, you know what I mean? I can't.
Right.
So thank you so much once again. But my thing is, I do not believe he is what he says he is. I do not believe, and that's something that Tanya was mentioning about, that she disagreed of my points.
I do too, because when Steven started this, there was no benefit for him. When he started this, back when he started out on YouTube, it was nothing but cat videos. He pitched it to Fox News back when he was a contributor. He started this on his own and took all the risks. And there was no conservative space. He created it.
That's true.
So he has to believe what he says. He walked away from Hollywood. He used to be on a Hollywood cartoon show. He walked away from money and fame that direction. He found it another way.
So if he was gay or bisexual, does he, don't get me wrong, I'm asking you a question. So if you find out that he's bisexual, is he still a Christian conservative? Just saying.
I think so. I mean, I
agree with you.
Classic
I agree with
liberal.
that.
I don't give a shit.
But
if you're gay.
Me too.
I don't know. What would that mean?
But I don't think his majority of his audience would follow him if they found out he was bisexual.
I don't. I think you're right to an extent. I mean, I personally don't know how that would. I guess it would really matter to me if he lied and said he was against it.
These straight men that are on top of it, conservative or Christian-like, right? That this guy. Now, don't get me wrong. It's almost like, like Jefferson. Was it Jefferson or one of, the presidents where they had they were sleeping with their so-called slaves and they had love affairs. I think it was Washington, one of them too, right? Don't quote me on exact names of presidents, but you know what I mean?
Right.
It wouldn't shock me and I would be totally okay with it. It's none of my fucking business who you sleep with. I care about, are you telling people the truth? And to me, he's lied to me. He said when he left in January after Christmas, he said, sign up. If you're a content creator and you believe in truth and you're about freedom and free speech, sign up. And he even said in his tape, in his live, that I'll help you. If you can't afford a lawyer, I'll help you so you don't have to sign shitty contracts. What happened with that? At the end of the day is whatever happened for him. Now, mind you, let's give him more benefit. I'm going through divorce. I just can't do it right now. Well, then make a statement. Say, hey guys, I told you to sign up, but as you know, I'm going through divorce, so I'm sorry if I didn't reach out to you, but I'm still going to do it. I just got to take care of my own personal business.
I thought they addressed that when they talked about moving to Rumble, and he said that he was going to that he knew he had made that offer, that he was going to have to work it out. Of course, it would depend somewhat, on what their subscriber level was and kind of where they were at, but that they were working on an avenue for that. I don't know if that's been built out or if it's going to be part of the Rumble thing, but I do feel you're right. He hasn't addressed it enough.
Right. Thank you. It's to me, it's okay. I love the fact that you watched the facts, you followed him, you know this stuff. And by the way, I don't know if you're watching comments. Carrie Lewis just said, great point, Andrea, which I'm sure every point you're making is great. But at the end of the day, I want to see proof, right? Like,
Yeah, I
if you're
agree with
standing
you.
up for freedom of speech.
I do think Stephen believes in what he purports to believe in. I think, like all of us, he's not perfect. What is it Ed Sheeran said? I wish love was the currency and the whole world was wealthy. I think there's things that we'd like to do and we can't. But in terms of him definitely being a pioneer in this space, and I do think he believes what he said about the big con and about if we're censoring our own, we ain't got a snowball's chance in hell. The Daily Wire, it's just business. At some point, it's got to be more than just business.
Right. But the thing is, he did go to Rumble and he's not out in court. Like, I would love to see him in court fighting YouTube with his half Asian, part Asian lawyer.
They have sued they have fought YouTube. I mean, over and over again. I got to give him on that one with the half Asian lawyer. Oh my God, I can't even go back through all the suits and shit they've done with YouTube, holding Susan Wojcicki to account. I mean, they had to have hated Steven Crowder.
Well, what would happen? Let's the hypothetical. If Crowder says, I'm gonna put all my money and all my time into suing YouTube and getting back freedom of speech versus, still follow me on Mug Club, still like and share and pay for a membership.
Right.
Think about it, man. This guy,
I think a lot of these content creators that have already made it and are on Rumble should just stop even posting on YouTube. Just stop.
Right, but like I do too. I want to be on YouTube because the majority of people are still there, and I want them to.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like Russell Brand, Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro.
With Russell Brand. See, I will cut him an asshole too. Do you see what I mean? Like, this is not about Crowder to me.
It's
This
almost
is about
like
these
once
assholes.
they make it, it's like, well, I'd like to help Sonny, but you know how it is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sorry. You're not showing me you care about me. You're still, what did he do today? I watched his live today. Okay, thank God he didn't mention his divorce. Good for you. You're being a pro. You're doing your show. But what's he doing? Laughing, chuckling. Here's some videos. Here's, like, meaning he's giving you information and he's entertaining. Done. But don't fucking tell me that you're standing up for me, because I'm the one that's got 2 fucking strikes. That, by the way, today, 1 strike, I think I already said it before. Sorry to be repetitive, Andrea. Did I say that right, by the way?
The one's supposed to come off today?
Yeah, it's May 1st. But anyway, your name, Andrea? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it's Andrea.
Andrea, see? I knew I fucking said it wrong because I say everything wrong. But, my thing is, nothing's going to change just because he goes to Rumble. Rumble is going to end up the same way because the money is the mover and the shaker. If Steven goes, I'm living in an RV. I'm going to stop everything.
I don't know about that. I mean, you have to also take into account that they're trying to build out the terms of service with Rumble. Him, Russell Brand, they're trying to keep it a place. I mean, some of the crap I've seen on there would never fly on YouTube, and that's okay. I think that I think the pull of the names, like Steven, like Russell Brand. For instance, another YouTuber, Flawedzilla, he saw literally a 10,000 subscriber jump on Rumble. Before, it was just a mirror channel. He wasn't growing there. People are starting to grow on Rumble now under terms that are better. It's not ideal, but I don't even know if, look at the trouble Trump had in building out his own platform for truth. And Steven ain't Trump.
Right. Good point.
I mean, even if he wanted to, Trump tried, and look how hard it's been. If you're not carried in the App Store.
Yep. But again, that's the bottom line to me. It's like,
right.
I've literally been in the trenches. Even because Steven is a good talker and he could sit there and change my mind, which is what I loved about him. That's literally how he got me to follow him, because of the change my mind. And that, by the way, I didn't even discover him till 2020, till the whole lockdown. And it wasn't because of the lockdown. I was just like, shit, what the fuck? Everybody's like listening to all this bullshit with the mask and this. And I'm like, is anybody speaking about this?
And Crowder, to his benefit, he took strikes for saying that the CDC said that children don't die of COVID like they do the flu. Now you can say that on YouTube. When he said it, you couldn't. He took strikes over the mask stuff. He spoke out about that stuff early on.
Oh, they were taking videos down. Yeah, no, you're totally right. But right now, his money means more than our freedom. That's a fact.
I agree.
That's it.
Just like with Elon Musk, a lot of people think that he's Jesus.
That is
I think
fucking
he's smart.
Saint Elon. Thank you.
Oh gosh.
Girl, I'm gonna go. I have to go. I have a phone call at 3:30. I love you. Thank you so much. I think I've seen your name pop up in the live chat in the past, but I don't know
I've been around for a while. I really enjoy you.
Really?
That's why I wanted
Thank
you to I wanted you to play this because I knew once you saw her unravel some of this, it would
What's
get you
funny is
thinking.
I reached out to her even before the whole Crowder thing. No,
Yeah.
I didn't reach out to her. I put her on my list of people that I want as guests and whatnot. And then with the whole Crowder thing, I was like, okay, she's got to be on the top of the list. Like, I'm taking too long. And then you send me this shit. I'm like, no such thing.
Yeah,
as
at the 8-minute mark, and she's no friend of Crowder, and she starts
or
pulling it
Tim.
apart.
No,
Yeah.
I love her. And I'm not going to stop it because I want to stop it. I just don't want to get into it and then have to cut it short. So I'm going to save this. And I don't know if I'm going to do maybe a random live tomorrow if I can on my schedule, or I'll just freaking start on Wednesday with this because I do love her. But I didn't see this one. And this is from when? This is from 3 days ago. Oh, I didn't see this one. But regardless.
Yeah, and she shows also Tim Pool breaking it down after that 8-minute marker, and she starts unraveling it.
Oh
she
my
goes
God.
to Tim Pool and shows his breakdown.
I literally, you can't see behind the scenes because I didn't pull it up, but I literally have a clip here of Tim Pool breaking it down. And she was breaking down what Tim Pool said. And my thing, first of all, but see, I think Tim Pool's another asshole. The same shit.
He is the most milquetoast, fence-riding piece of shit you ever seen. But when he took a stance on this, you must know it's true for this pussy to take a stance.
That's no. If I had put him in order, I would definitely put Candace. I don't know where Candace and Tim Pool are almost like right here. I definitely put Crowder right there. But
I
at the
can't
same
stand
time,
Tim Pool.
Oh my dude. And I would try. That's another story. But
he never commits to shit.
No,
and he commits on this one. He's like, yeah, this is a shakedown. This was in poor taste. And he knows the dude that posted us, that Yasser Lee, and he said that this is right up his lane.
You're fucking funny as shit. No, I mean that in a good way. Like,
yeah.
I could see you shooting this shit with me. A little happy hour. Thank you so much.
Man.
That's what I want to bring to this. It's like, this is not about.
Well, yeah, because people got to cut the bullshit, leave it at the door.
Yeah.
We're not going to get anywhere if we're not being honest. And I think this is the way forward, is small communities sharing information with an open mind.
Bless you, Andrea. Well said. Jesus Christ. Maybe you got to take over my show. I'm not kidding.
You're doing fine.
Thank you so much, because it's hard. And it's not, it might look easy. It's not easy. Like every time.
Oh, no, I can imagine. I've wanted to start one because I follow, like, if you make the rounds, I'm in everybody's comments. They know me. But I help this way. I send links. I send info. I'm kind of the do you know chick of YouTube and Twitter.
Well, great to meet you. Look, and you wrote Andrea Crowder.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Well,
anyway.
the thing is, I have sons, and I'm a mother of 5. I have 3 boys. And after the Brett Kavanaugh thing, I was like, okay, look, I used to think I was a liberal. I mean, I don't care if you're gay. I don't care what you do, really, as long as you're not trying to make me do anything I don't want to. But when I saw that it was like, prove you didn't rape somebody who has no witnesses from 16 years ago, I'm like, my boys don't stand a snowball's chance in hell. My son was in a classroom after the Parkland shooting, and his teacher said, oh, it's another white boy. That's not a surprise. Why is it always these white boys that shoot up the school? And I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? Maybe you should really ask that question. Why do young white males feel so disenfranchised that they think the only way to be paid attention to is to murder their classmates? I think we are asking the wrong questions.
Absolutely. And we're going to get into this because I'm going to watch this replay. I'm going to take my notes and we're going to talk. But like I said, I got to go. I got to prep for my next call.
I'll let you go.
Much love. Many blessings. Thank you, Andrea, everyone. I'll talk to you soon, Andrea. Stay in touch. Thank you.
I will.
Everyone, Much love, many blessings, and this is what it's about. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.